The Jake Asman Show will begin shortly. Thanks to all these great Patreon members who help support the show. Get your super chats ready. Jake will be here in just a moment. If you love the New York Jets, this is the place to be. And now, the Jake Asman Show.
Death, taxes, and more Jets drama. I'll tell you what I'm hearing about the Jets following another hit piece by The Athletic aimed at Woody Johnson. We'll talk about that and much more. It's the Jake Asman Show. Let's hit it and get it started.
But I'm just saying here, setting the record straight. This show is about positivity and having a good time and yucking it up. I love this show. I do this shit for free.
Yeah.
We bleed Jets green each and every day.
This is not the same old Jets. We have Aaron freaking Rodgers. We have Garrett Wilson. Let's go. We have Breece Hall. Please subscribe and hit the like button below. Super chat, baby. Cut the line. We have Sauce Gardner. We have Quinnen Williams. The Jets bandwagon is loaded. Now it's time to talk all things New York Jets. It's the Jake Asman Show. Here we go. Just got done playing some Madden with Woody Johnson. You can't make it up. What a day in Jetland. It is always something. I mean, honestly, there's been more hit pieces in The Athletic over the last calendar year than there have been Jet wins. I mean, that's what it feels like. A lot to talk about, fallout from the article, plus some comments from Garrett Wilson on the trade rumors that I want to address. But let's start with what has happened since this story emerged this morning. When you see the headline and it's talking about how the Jets basically killed a trade due to the owner referencing Madden ratings, that's going to go everywhere because people want to believe it first and foremost. It's the Jets. LOL Jets. Let's laugh at them. And let's be clear, until the Jets win, Woody Johnson's never going to get the benefit of the doubt. The Jets are never going to get the benefit of the doubt, and they don't deserve it either because this team has missed the playoffs every year since 2010. But when I was reading the story this morning, I didn't believe it for a second that Madden ratings actually killed the deal. And then I was doing some digging, calling around, and some people I spoke to provided some perspectives on it. So I'll share what I heard after I first play you a clip from someone who I think is actually the voice of reason here, which is pretty funny considering Jet fans typically think this guy is negative. Brian Costello, who covers the team for the New York Post. On his podcast, Gangs All Here, with Ryan Sampson and Frankie V, Costello essentially shot down the biggest takeaway from this Athletic story that Woody Johnson essentially used Jerry Jeudy's Madden rating to veto a trade.
I'll just tell you like what I've heard and known. Like at the time of the Jeudy trade, I was told by somebody I trust a lot that the Jets offered a draft pick. I can't remember, it was 4th or 5th round. It was a day 3 pick and Alan Lazard. That was their offer for Jerry Jeudy. I was told Denver preferred Cleveland's offer, which was all draft picks, because Denver just really didn't want Alan Lazard. And go back to March and how Alan Lazard was viewed. He had a terrible year. He still had another year with $11-12 million. I think he had this year coming to him. So it's understandable. I think, from talking to people, would Woody Johnson have made a remark about his Madden rating? Probably. Did he squash the trade because of his Madden rating? No. Like, I think that's where we get a little blurry here is I have a feeling from the way they wrote that the source was in Denver that told them that. It said the Jets told the Broncos that this was the reason. Could Joe Douglas have made an offhand remark to George Payton and said, the owner thinks Judy's not that good because of his Madden rating? Yeah, that could have happened. And that's kind of the telephone game that we play. And then it becomes, he squashed the trade. I cannot see any world in where Woody Johnson squashed the trade because of the Madden rating. Would Woody have mentioned the Madden rating in a meeting? Absolutely.
And that's kind of my thing, right? The game of telephone that goes on with something like this. And you also have to consider the source, too. Why is a story like this coming out now? Well, the Jets fired Joe Douglas. They had already previously fired Robert Saleh. This is now the third story that we've had from the same outlet, basically talking about Woody Johnson meddling, essentially, right?
Why is it coming out now? Why is this coming out today would be my thing if there's already been 2 other stories. Like, why are we sitting on information and then just releasing it now? It's almost like it's all calculated. It's like we're going to release it at certain points so we have a new headline each time. Remember, the previous big gotcha headline was Aaron Rodgers, Woody Johnson wanted him benched after that Bronco game. And what's crazy about that story is it's changed like 3 times. And I remember in the first article, and NYJ Matt on Twitter documented this. He did a good job because he's right. Woody wanted to bench Rodgers originally for performance. That was in the first article. And then Diana on her podcast the following week said, Woody wanted to bench Aaron Rodgers for his health because he wasn't healthy, which, by the way, was true. And in hindsight, Aaron probably should not have played in London. He should have sat Rodgers. Tyrod should have played. And maybe the season's different because now that Aaron has been healthy these last couple of games, he looks like Aaron Rodgers. And then today, the article said that Woody was making a joke and wanted to see their reaction. So it just kind of feels like it's all over the place. And I don't really want to defend Woody Johnson because, once again, he's not a good owner until this team wins. But that's really the thing. There's like there's this idea with Woody Johnson that, he's a bad owner because, he meddles and doesn't let people do their job. And, I just don't believe that to be true. That gives too much of a pass to the general manager who was here for 6 years and the head coach who got 3 losing seasons and then got the beginning of this year. I'll continue to say it. If you're going to criticize Woody Johnson for anything, he should have fired Saleh and everyone at the end of last year. That was the mistake. Firing him 5 games in was the wrong decision. Criticize him for that. But I think all this other stuff, and Costello even said it later on in the podcast, that Woody's the worst owner. I don't believe it, man. Yeah, there's a narrative that the Jets aren't patient with the people they employ. That's also not true. Let's go back through recent Jet history. Douglas in year 6, Saleh in year 4. Adam Gase never should have been hired. He still got 2 full years. Mike McCagnon got 4 years. You can knock John Izek, right? He pulled the plug on Izek. Fine, but Izek was terrible through 2 years. That was the right move. His drafts were so bad. He only got 2 years. Okay. Rex was the head coach here for 6 years. Tannenbaum was with the organization for 16, including 6 as a GM. Herm got a lot of time. You're saying, they're never going to win with Woody. He's too rash. He doesn't let people do their jobs. The only thing I would say to that is, put yourself in Woody's shoes. You've seen all this losing nonstop, and then the team this year starts 2-3, and he overreacted, and it was a mistake. But it's now it's we're supposed to just basically only blame Woody, and we're not supposed to put any of the blame on the head coach and the general manager who had plenty of time to turn this around and failed. Come on, man. And the other issue I have with the Athletic story, too, with the Madden stuff, so it references John Simpson in the story in the same paragraph where they talk about the Judy deal. And when they talk about John Simpson, they bring up the fact that Woody referenced, he has a low awareness rating in Madden, right? But they still signed him. So if Woody is meddling, why did they sign him? Right? So he stopped some moves, but not all of them. We just selectively get to pick and choose what he allowed and what he didn't. And the Simpson thing is only in the article because it highlights, he's actually a really good signing. But then it doesn't mention any of the other awful moves that Joe Douglas made, like dismantling the defensive line, not bringing in a backup last year. Instead, it takes a shot at Jets X Factor. One of the authors who wrote the story called it Some Jets Blog. Jets X Factor is not just some Jets blog. Right? They're credentialed by the team. So I thought that was disrespectful to the people at Jet X Factor. Because, by the way, if Joe Douglas maybe read more Jets X Factor, maybe he would have signed a legit backup after 4 plays last year. Maybe he would have realized Greg Zuerlein was shot this year and got a real kicker before it was too late. So, look, it's open season on the Jets right now. And there are some things in the article that definitely are concerning and need to be cleaned up. Woody Johnson's kids shouldn't be in the locker room giving out game balls. The sanctity of the locker room should be protected. And all that stuff I think is fair. But I think we're making way too much of the headline gotcha Madden stuff. If Brian Costello is the voice of reason here, I think we've gone too far. I really do. And here's what I would say too. It really doesn't matter that this story is out there as far as how the Jets are now impacted going forward. You know what matters? who they hire to be the general manager and the head coach. That's why I think they need to hire people with previous experience. So that guy or those two could push back on Woody. Say, hey, we'll take your opinion, but this is how we're going to do it. But also, to be fair here, it's not like Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas didn't get to do what they wanted for a long time. That's why I get so annoyed. It's like, I'm not trying to say Woody Johnson's a good owner. He's not, but neither was James Dolan until, guess what? He hired the right people, and he stays out of the way. So I think a couple things could be true here. Woody's a bad owner because he's hired bad people. But also, Joe Douglas was bad at his job. He lost 2/3 of his games over 6 years. Robert Saleh was bad at his job, unfortunately. Now, he's better than Jeff Ulbrich, and that's why I think if you want to criticize Woody for anything, it's making the coaching change five games in. But I just think there's a lot more nuance to this. And to those saying, like, blame Woody, sell the team, like, you could say all that, but he's not selling the team. So you have to hope, just like James Dolan eventually got it right with the Knicks. I know the Rangers now suck, but that's a different story. The Rangers were just in the conference finals last year and have been really good. So, also, I hope the Rangers keep losing on a personal note, but I'll keep it to the Jets for right now. But, like, what I would say is, like, hopefully all this is, like, eye-opening for Woody. Right? I mean, the Jets did acknowledge some of the stuff in the story. The Mike White thing happened. Right? Like, Woody Johnson shouldn't be saying to Mike White or saying in front of teammates after Mike White slams his helmet in the locker room after Seattle, like, you suck, basically. And Woody apologized. How do I know this? Like, the Jets are on the record. A Jets spokesman's on the record in the story saying that. So there's some things in here that obviously happened that are true, but I think some of it, as Brian Costello talked about in the clip I just played, some of it is like this game of telephone where it's hyperbole or it's a throwaway line, and then it becomes the story. And the article basically reads like, hey, I'm Joe Douglas, I'm Robert Saleh, I'm Rex Hogan, the highly respected Rex Hogan. I'm Mike LaFleur. I was fired. I'm disgruntled. Here's my chance to get back at Woody Johnson. You know what I mean? So it's just frustrating because I don't think Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh, the coaching staff and the front office, I don't think they should get a pass. I also think Woody Johnson should get criticism because the team hasn't won. But I would push back on the notion that they won't be able to get a good candidate here. You had Bill Belichick call about the job. All right. They've already interviewed Thomas Dimitroff. They interviewed today the Senior Bowl director. What's the guy's name? Nagy, who's another guy who is very well respected, but actually respected in scouting circles. Jim Nagy knows basically every agent, every team, so he's got a lot of context around the league. Like, that's an interesting candidate right there. And I'll give credit to Woody for this. Firing Joe Douglas when he did was the right move as well. Honestly, get all these stories out of the way, because if Douglas and Saleh were still employed right now and the Jets were having a nightmare year, this would be coming out in January when they're trying to interview candidates. So honestly, it's kind of smart to get all this out of the way so you start the process. People will forget about this, or they're going to move on to everything else going on in the league. And, the Jets are going to have a long process here where they could talk to a bunch of candidates, get an idea, ask each candidate, hey, which team around the league do you think does a great job? What do they do well? What do we need to do better? And just take in as much information as possible. So it's good that they fired Douglas when they did. That was a proactive move by the Jets. Clearly, I said it at the time. And now you have to hope that they could get the right people. And how do you do that? Money talks, and it's still one of 32. That's really the bottom line. Like, this is still, to me, an attractive job. There's talent on this team. And it pays unbelievably well. Look at the highest paid offensive or defensive coordinator salary, and then look at head coaching salaries. When you're head coach, you get a 5 or 6 year deal. And remember, and this has been brought up, Joe Douglas didn't want this job when he was hired. They made him one of the highest paid GMs in the league and gave him a 6 year deal. And Adam Gase had to show up at Joe Douglas's house begging him to take the job. So they got Joe Douglas when he was the top candidate, and it still didn't work. So just get it right, man. That's it. And like, as Mike Tannenbaum told me on this show 2 weeks ago, when he was running the Jets, Woody Johnson never meddled one time. So I do think Woody's hands off if he trusts the people he has in place. I think what this article shows you, though, is he lost complete faith in Douglas and Saleh in the offseason last year. And if that was the case, once again, if you blame Woody for anything, they should have been fired then. Or at least the coaching staff should have been fired, and you bring in a Mike Vrabel or whoever was available last year. But I'm just telling you, man. And I was talking to someone today who's a big Texans fan. I went through this when I did radio in Houston for 6 years. I was down there, and I'll pull the clip. I didn't have time today to do it. I was down there when the Texans had their team chaplain running their team. And J.J. Watt took a shot at Jack Easterby on the Pat McAfee show yesterday, talking about how big of a mess Houston was and how dysfunctional they were. Cal McNair was a racist because he hired 2 black coaches and fired them after 1 year, right? David Culley and then Lovie Smith. And then he hired D'Amico Ryans, and then they hit on C.J. Stroud, and they're in the playoffs last year. They're in the playoffs again this year. Like, this could turn if you get the right people in place. In Houston, it was Caserio and D'Amico. And with the Jets, I don't know who that is yet because they're starting the process. But, like, that's really my point. When you lose, there's dysfunction everywhere. And I'm telling you, if you did stories about what's happening with the Giants, you'd hear stuff like this. If you did stories about what's happening with the Jaguars, you'd hear stuff like this. But the Jets were the first team to clean house with coach and GM. So it's open season right now. And I hope Woody wakes up because there's some things in the article in there that obviously are an issue. Like Brick Johnson shouldn't be in the locker room giving a game ball to Garrett Wilson. That's not a good look. That shouldn't happen. Like if you hire Mike Vrabel, I think you'd have the balls to say we're not doing that. You know, like that's the type of stuff that I think you hope Woody is woken up to. But the narrative that he's not patient with his people or he meddles, like, I just don't buy it. I think that gives too much of a pass to how bad Joe Douglas was at his job. I don't think Woody Johnson told Joe Douglas, hey, draft Zach Wilson. Hey, take Mekhi Becton instead of Tristan Wirfs. Hey, miss on every pick besides Michael Carter that's not in the top 45. Like, there's too much of a pass that would be given to those guys if you think it's all on Woody. Because if you think it's all on Woody, then all right, don't watch anymore because it's never going to work. They're never going to win. And I don't believe that. I don't. The Knicks situation was worse. Sell the team at Dolan every night at the Garden. You don't hear that anymore. The Houston situation was worse. I lived it. Maybe that's why I have such a different perspective on this, because I talked about it every day. I was in Houston for 6 years. I did 3 years in drive time, 3 to 7, Monday through Friday on the radio, 4 hours a day. Like, I think it's just too easy sometimes to blame the owner. But Woody's not blameless. And this stuff's got to be cleaned up, but it only gets cleaned up if you hire the right people. That's it. Now, the other thing I want to talk about are Garrett Wilson's comments from earlier today. So he was made available. It's the first time that he was available since Rich Cimini said this on his podcast.
Talk to people in Garrett Wilson's circle. They think, now I want to emphasize this is speculation on their part. They think he will ask for a trade after the season. Again, speculative by people who know him. We don't know that to be a fact.
Okay, so people think he might request a trade, right? That was the big headline. Not Garrett Wilson's requesting a trade. They think he might request a trade. Here's Garrett Wilson being asked a question by the great friend of the show, Antoine Staley, if Garrett Wilson would like a long-term contract extension. In fact, the whole question's in there, so we can go through it together, because I even think this is now being taken out of context by some too.
If the Jets approach you about a contract extension, would you like to stay here long term?
I don't know, man. I just do whatever, whatever, go about my day, however, be where my feet at, And if they do it, I would be a blessing. That'd be awesome. I love the Jets. At the end of the day, they were the ones that believed in me. So but yeah, I can't be worrying about all that. Just gonna finish these 3 games the right way. But I don't know, man. I can't be looking into all that right now,
So people heard that and it's like, oh, he's gone. But I think I don't know. You tell me. Let's run it back. I think he's a little caught off guard by the question at first here. And then his answer in the middle, I think, is more important than at the beginning. I'm going to play it again. I'll tell you what I mean.
Jets approached you about a contract extension. Would you like to stay here long term?
I don't know, man. I just do whatever, whatever, go about my day, however, be where my feet at, And if they do, that would be a blessing. That'd be awesome. I love it.
So, like, that part, I think, is the real answer there, right? The question was, if the Jets approach you about a contract extension. I think only the beginning part is, like, being aggregated anywhere where he's like, I don't know.
Here long term?
I don't know, man.
I don't know. Like, it's like he's trying to figure out in real time what he wants to say to the question. Then, like, this is the real answer, right? Like, around here.
I just do whatever.
Hold on, right here.
Whatever, go about my day, however, be where my feet at, And if they do, that would be a blessing. That'd be awesome. I love it.
If they do, that'd be a blessing. Because here's the thing. I don't think people understand this. Garrett Wilson's not a free agent. And the Jets have never, at least under Joe Douglas, they haven't done this. Now there'll be a new GM, so maybe there's a different take. But the Jets have never extended a player after 3 years. Remember, Quinn Williams didn't get a contract after year 3. He played year 4 and then got his extension. But I'm telling you, I think when you look at what happens now, it's going to come down to who they hire, right? You hire a real coach, you hire a real GM. That guy sits down with Garrett, says, we want to make you a captain. We're going to make you one of the higher paid receivers in the league. You've earned it. I think Garrett would take the extension, but let's say he does request a trade, and he might. We've kind of seen this now a lot. It's like the new playbook by agents with wide receiver clients. They request a trade, but it doesn't mean that he's going to be traded. The Jets have him under contract for next year and the 5th-year option. So really 2 more years plus the franchise tag. And Woody Johnson loves wide receivers. And we know Brick Johnson's giving him a game ball. So I think he's going to get extended, ultimately, or at least offered an extension, and players take the money. But I think it's just kind of silly to speculate on any of this right now until we truly understand where the direction of the team is going, who the quarterback is, who the GM is, who the head coach is. But, I think I think the way Garrett answered the question at first, that beginning part is being aggregated. You understand what I mean? That's why I wanted to kind of slow it down and play it. Like, he said it'd be a blessing to get a contract extension. If they do, that'd be a blessing. That'd be awesome. Like, if he's offered a contract extension, that'd be a blessing. So, at the end of the day, I can't worry about Garrett Wilson right now on December 19th. Still 3 games to go. Ladies and gentlemen, comments, questions, your super chats will cut the line. Earlier today, we placed a bounty on Allen for another day. And ladies and gentlemen, not only did we hit that bounty, we exceeded that bounty. So, Allen, thank you for watching the show. Your contributions are awesome. Just kidding. We will see you tomorrow.
Now look what you've done, Allen. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the Sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Farewell, Allen. Thank you to all who contributed. All right, comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. Purple Belt Mike with a super chat here. Garrett canceled his weekly with Bart and Hahn earlier this season because he couldn't take the BS in New York and losing. Bart said it today with Grassa on the air. Well, Alan Hahn talked about it publicly yesterday. I've known about this for months. So Garrett would do a weekly on, at the time, Bart and Hahn, which is from 12 to 3 on our station, ESPN New York. But they were losing every week, and he didn't see the value in doing it anymore. I don't blame him, to be honest. Now, you make a commitment to go on with those guys every week and you pull a plug mid-season, that's tough. But from his standpoint, what's he getting out of it? But, I mean, he probably didn't want to make headlines anymore from that. been a tough year. Ladies and gentlemen, Nick Shine with a super chat. This is not for the bounty. Hashtag Team Bobby and Jake. I placed a bounty on Bobby Midnight. All right. And the reason why I placed the bounty was because Bobby has been out of line. What he did to BMAC yesterday, I thought was insane. And he has since apologized to BMAC. But Bobby was running his mouth on his show earlier. And he thought that I wouldn't see these comments. So for those wondering, wait, why is there a bounty on Bobby Midnight? Because this happened earlier, folks.
Well, I'm staying on. I don't give a rat's that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then.
Bobby encouraging Alan to treat me like bleep. Man. Bobby going up and in on me. He's turned on me, folks. I feel like Obi-Wan. I feel like I failed Anakin. Bobby Midnight has gone full Darth Bobby. And it's sad. And that's why there's a bounty on him, folks. He's eating too much butter. So, as you can see, the bounty's been set. We will send Bobby Midnight to the hole. 10 green super chats or higher. And it's over for Bobby Midnight. Dark Knight Steve with the first one. A $20 super chat. I propose not putting Bobby in the hole, but he should apologize to BMAC. No Asmaniac on Asmaniac violence allowed. Dark Knight Steve, he did apologize to BMAC. I'm not sure if you caught the first show earlier today. It actually happened last night. Bobby called him up. But I just think we got to hold Bobby accountable, man. He's not the same Bob I'm used to. He used to be all joyous. He used to be full of energy, nice to everyone. And now he's been mean to folks. He's been snippy. What happened to this guy?
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
I haven't seen I Am Bob, of course, that guy in a while. So something had to be done. Anyway, let me shout out Peter Castro. He just gifted 10 memberships a little while ago. That's 10 raffle tickets for Peter Castro for our next giveaway, which is the assortment of Jets trading cards right here and a $50 gift card to Copper John's. Ladies and gentlemen, the great Peter Castro coming through for every Asmaniac in the chat.
It's the Asmaniac membership raffle. For every membership gifted, you receive one ticket entered in the raffle to win epic prizes.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you hear your name, these are from the great Peter Castro, who got his own channel emoji yesterday. So thank you, as always, Peter. John Lisicki, Gabriel Jimenez, P-Viz, Bobby's Butternuts, Zach Pomanera, Zayboy, and Amon Bricker, all receiving channel memberships. All right, some super chats here that we get right to your calls. How we feeling, Jet fans? All right, I might play some Madden tonight with Brick and Woody. I know I'm having a great time. Big fellow writes in, Bobby went full Judas. Oh, my God, I can't believe it. I definitely botched that one. There's definitely something I screwed up there. Thank you, big fellow. Kikuka Lake Jet fan. Imagine how so many GMs and coaches let go. Not a peep about Woody. JD and Sal get fired. They act like an angry ex. I'm so tired of the excuse making. I'm not trying to say Woody Johnson's some good owner. He's not. His issue, though, is he's hired the wrong people. It was the same problem Dolan had. It was the same problem Cal McNair had, right? He trusted Bill O'Brien, who then brings in Jack Easterby. O'Brien loses a power struggle. Easterby, who's never been in a front office, is now the GM of an NFL team. Are you shitting me? The guy was the character coach for the Patriots. Bill Belichick's on the record saying Jack is not in scouting. This guy was running a team. So I lived this in Houston, and they got out of it by hiring the right people. That's what Woody has to do, or none of this matters. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get to your calls right now. Let's say hello to Joe the Jet. He's first today on the Gusbuster Hotline. What's up, Joe?
How you doing, Jake? Never a dull moment with this team, right? Never a dull moment.
It really is. It's something.
I mean, geez. I mean, I have actually a theory I'd like to share about Madden and the New York Jets. So the last time I would say Madden was good was Madden 11. That was 2010. That's when the last time we made the playoffs and made, the AFC Championship game. Ever since then, Madden has been gradually like getting terrible and worse. Ever since like probably like Madden 12, Madden 13 was terrible, and then on it's been trash. So that probably explains the 14-year playoff drought. I mean, who knows? But another thing I got to mention is I'm just horrified with this whole Garrett Wilson stuff. I know we're looking into it and we're sort of looking into what his comments are. We're trying to overanalyze them, but it's not going to come into full fruition until the season's fully over. But I am just horrified of him wanting out.
I get it. And look, but he could request a trade, and the Jets could be like, it's not going to trade you. He's going to hold out? You think Garrett Wilson would ever hold out? Jamar Chase didn't do it. The only guy who ever will hold out again, I think, is Hassan Reddick. No one's doing that again after the moron move he pulled.
Well, I'm scared of that same situation happening. I mean, why shouldn't I? I mean, we saw this last year with Hassan Reddick, like you said, but who knows? All I'm going to say is I hope he remains a Jet for life. That game against the Texans was all world. I was at that game as well. Probably the greatest catch I've ever seen live was the Air Jordan catch. I just hope he doesn't leave. And another thing is, what's with Bobby, man? What's going on with Bobby Midnight? I mean,
it's sad. It's sad what's happened to him. I love Bobby. I loved him like a brother, as Obi-Wan said to Anakin, but he's gone to the dark side.
Gator should make an edit of that scene where he's like in the lava and he's gonna get burnt, and Obi-Wan's like saying, "You're the chosen one," that type of stuff. You should make an edit of that. That'd be very funny. I was cracking up thinking about that possibility right there.
Well, Joe, I'm being told by multiple people in the chat that Bobby is currently bashing me.
Oh no!
On his show right now, which is unbelievable. And you know what's great? I just checked out who's on the Bobby show right now, and that pot stirrer himself, Ted, is on there hanging out. So you just know Ted is behind all this. I'm sure.
No, he's the emperor. He's manipulating Bobby.
Incredible, Joe. You're the man. Appreciate it.
See you, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, a super chat from Mike D's Nuts. To the hole, humble him. Well, I'll tell you what. We're well on the way. We need 9 super chats of green or higher. So $5 or higher, and the bounty's been set. And let's just say Gator has gone into the lab to make this one special when the bounty's complete. Big fella says, Madden is great. Just kick little fella's ass. Look, Madden is awesome. I just don't believe for a second that's why the Judy deal didn't happen. And the reason I believe that is because in the same paragraph of the article, they referenced the only other player Woody referenced Madden grades about was John Simpson. Well, they signed John Simpson. So I think the Madden stuff gets the headline and people will believe it that aren't Jet fans or just want to believe it because it's Woody. And, of course, it makes sense. But I think we just give the incompetent general manager and the head coach too much of a pass. That's my thing. Like, don't let the people off the hook that's failed us here. They failed us more than Woody did. Woody's mistake, yes, firing Saleh 5 games in, bad. But ultimately, the problem has been hiring the wrong people. And I hope that they get it right with these hires. The process has been good so far. We could talk about how bad this season's been and everything that's transpired. But firing Douglas early has now allowed them to start talking to candidates, vet information, bringing in Tannenbaum, who's been in the market, who's someone that Woody trusts, which is most important. He'll listen to what Tannenbaum says. I know that to be true from talking with folks. And Mike knows this market. Like, I like what they have done so far. Now, there's more candidates that they're going to interview that are currently employed by teams, so they can't talk with everyone they're going to talk to. But of the 4 candidates they now have either spoken to or will speak to, right? They've interviewed 3 officially. Louis Riddick probably interviews tomorrow, if I had to guess. I like Thomas Dimitroff the best so far. But like it starts with a good process. But it's not Woody Johnson's fault that this team didn't get a backup last year. That's on Joe Douglas. It's not Woody Johnson's fault that we didn't see a kicker added before it was way too late. Like, I just feel like it gives the people that are here too much of a pass. That's my big thing. 25 in the house of the super chat. This is all just noise, man. Woody's not a football guy. Who cares if he did bring up Madden ratings? Hire the right people and it doesn't matter. That's it. Curtis Martin writes in, Dave Brigger going off on you too. Dave just hates BMAC. So he doesn't like the fact that Bobby actually did the right thing yesterday and apologized. That seems to be the issue here. Shout out to everyone on the Bobby Midnight Show right now. Especially the great pot stirrer himself, Ted. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls right now. Comments, questions, super chats. They always will cut the line. Jorge says the Asmaniac insurrection is here. Oh, yeah. December 19th will go down in show history, folks. Not just the day another athletic hit piece arrived, but the day Bobby Midnight officially went to the dark side.
Well, I'm staying on. I don't give a crap for that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then.
Wow. It hurts every time. Ladies and gentlemen, more of your calls. Let's say hello right now to Philly Noodles. Hey, Philly.
Yo, what's going on, man? Yeah. That's some hashtag Buttergate shit. Hashtag Buttergate.
It said Ron Weiss with a super chat here, though. Another super chat towards the bounty on Bob. Jake Izamios at the last couple of weeks been at least fun to watch as Jet fans. Look, they won last week. Rodgers playing well. Add some intrigue to these last three. We'll see what I'm as a Jet fan, Ron. You're not at least excited to potentially see what it looks like on Sunday against the Rams in the cold? We'll see.
You know, it's funny. The articles are coming out as we're ramping up for different GM candidate interviews. It's like they're like, hold on, get everything we can off the shelves to write articles immediately, drop them, because it's during the season. No one else has been, you know what I mean? Like, he was proactive in getting rid of Joe Douglas. I mean, and doing what he had to do. So yeah, I mean, this there should be no sympathy left for what was at this point. Speculation of Garrett Wilson is all trash. I mean, there's going to be moves parlayed by his side if he wants to make more money, right? That's natural. He's got 2 years left. Honestly, they don't even have to give him an extension. This could just be promotion on one side to get him an extension earlier than he really needs, which would be nice. So if the Jets want to keep that up, hey, you know what? Better off for us, for him and Brees and Sauce. Get them all paid early. So we, you know, when they're done with this contract, we don't have to worry about anything else towards the future until we get there. But it is funny how Ted's over there and that pot stirring shit is happening. The Buttergate, he's churning the butter. He's an Amishman just churning the butter, man.
Look,
oh my God,
Ted Yu. That's why he's the professor, man. He's the dean. He's the best ever doing.
He's doing his thing. I do want to hate, but at the same time, it's too funny because some of the takes we know are just erroneous. You know what I mean? But now at this point, I would love to hear what he has to say about Garrett Wilson. Him and Gary at the same time.
I really want his take on his honest assessment of Bobby Midnight versus BMAC.
Oh my God, Bobby! The betrayal is like disgusting. I mean, you paid him, you gave him dividends off of video.
You know what's funny? I literally paid him. I have paid Bobby like $70 over the last like 3 days, and it's insane because I'm paying him for $10 every pound he's lost. So I said to buddy the other night, I paid him to play the butter video, and then I gave him a bonus on whatever, the video of Jake Quest humping him, and he's turning on me. He's turning on me because I banned Allen or put Allen in the hole when Allen on this show called him, and I'm quoting his language, called him an effing moron. That's what he said, and he's mad that I had the audacity to put a bounty on Allen. Give me a break.
He's slowly buttering everybody up, pun intended, to get more money out of them for his weight loss. Bobby's a capitalist at heart. He's a sick capitalist. He's doing his thing. I have a handkerchief on the way for Jet, my dog. So a Jake Asman handkerchief.
I saw that. Thank you for supporting Philly.
You got it, brother. I'll talk to you later, man.
Philly, I appreciate it. Let's go to Kyle Clifton. He's up next. Kyle, what are you talking about with the Jet chant here?
Do you not hear that?
No.
I don't know if Philly Noodles could hear it. It is going nonstop in the green room. All I hear is the Jets chant in continuous loop in the background.
Hold on. Philly, do you hear a Jet chant?
No, we could start one. Do we want to do one right now?
Wait. I'm very curious.
I don't have anything else on my phone. Just StreamYard.
There has to be some sort of misunderstanding.
That's not. I don't
go all Phil Collins on me.
Also, Bobby's apparently going off on me right now, so someone's got to pull the footage. Yeah. Gator, if you're out there, we gotta play this.
It is maddening.
I don't hear a Jet chant at all. I'm not sure.
Right. I'm sorry, Jake. I think I got to bail. I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Refresh your browser and call back, Kyle.
I will.
I think you're the other one hearing a Jet chant. No one in the chat has complained about it. If there was like a loop of a Jet chant playing, I would hear it, right? Like when I do this is me manually clicking a button. Anyway. Someone give me the play-by-play on what Bobby's saying. It's tough to host this show and watch this show. Ladies and gentlemen, Peter Castro's a madman. He's gunning for another win in the lottery. Bang! How about it? A 10 spot of channel memberships from the Peter Castro. Hit the Castro emoji. Farouk, Wesley Thompson, Kyle Clifton. Hey, Kyle, you might hear a Jet champ. You just got a membership. KDG Adventures, Jarrow921, JT, Adam J, Mike F, Gangrene Goliath, Bang Mateo, Wesley Thompson, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome. All right, let me get caught up on some super chats. Ron Weiss, 1, 2. So it's green super chats or more. It's $5 or more for the bounty here. It's not like $50 total. These are the options I have from YouTube. So according to YouTube, we have had 5 of the 10 teal, that's green, super chats or higher. So we need 5, and there's 9 minutes and 11 seconds to do it. Michael says, maybe I missed it. Are Sal and Douglas taking shots at Woody? Yeah. Who do you think the anonymous sources are? Joe Douglas, Robert Saleh, their agents? Maybe it's not them directly. Like, I don't know if Joe Douglas is like, hey, Diana Rossini. But his agent could relay it. And look, like, I feel like there's a fine line because I don't want to be like a Woody Johnson apologist because I've criticized him numerous times in this show and for firing Saleh 5 games in. But what I don't want to happen, and I've seen the conversation today, is, oh, they could never win with Woody. Oh, Saleh and Douglas had no chance here. And that's just not true. We all watched what's happened when these guys had plenty of chances. Douglas got 6 years, 2 coaches, 3 quarterbacks. He got the stick. He could have stuck with Sam. Well, first he tried to build around Sam. He royally screwed that one up. So then what does he do? He trades Sam, goes with Zach Wilson. Royally screws that up. He brings in Rodgers. It's no one's fault he got hurt, but it's like, how many chances are you going to get to try and fix it? And then you punt on backup quarterback. You dismantle the D-line, not to mention all the free agent signings that didn't work out. Like, I'm sorry, man. Joe Douglas got a fair shot. I don't want to hear that Woody Johnson is the reason why he wasn't successful here. All right? Honestly. If Brick Johnson was the GM, would he have been that much worse than 30-64? Objectively speaking. Rowan writes in, Bobby Rossini going in at Jake. Ron says, did you jump up when AR hit Devontae Adams after the pit of the Burns call? Did I jump up when AR hit DA? I mean, I was excited. I was excited. I mean, I still think the best case scenario for the Jets is Rodgers looks good down the stretch. He said yesterday he's open to redoing his contract. I don't know if that's true. He said the right things though. If maybe they hire Mike Vrabel, he would like that. I want the Jets to win, man. So that's it. All right. I hope they play well Sunday and that happens. Chris, thank you for the 99 cents. We're going back to Kyle here. Kyle, have you figured out the issue here with the Jet chant?
I haven't figured it out, but it has alleviated, which I'm grateful for, because it was 10 minutes on continuous loop in the background. I'm like, this is maybe Jake trying to alienate all of his listeners. This is my own personal hell. It was crazy. I'm surprised Philly couldn't hear it.
I just commented on Bobby's channel. Come get some, big boy. Apparently, I'm doing the best thing ever for Bobby right now. Nick Shine says there's 52 people watching, a record high. You're welcome, Bob.
There you go. I mean, I think that this is natural. When the Jets are bad, there's going to be a lot of fan-on-fan violence. So just try and keep it together. We got another couple of weeks of this, and then we get into the offseason. Maybe we can have some civil discussions.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be sweet. Listen, this article in The Athletic, there's probably some elements of truth with, and most of it's horseshit, whatever. I'm a subscriber, as I've mentioned in the past. I'm not giving it up because I love ruthless coverage of the draft. Although they're very stingy. I don't ever get across the paywall to read any New York Times stuff, which would be nice every once in a while. But the way that they're promoting this article a little bit. There was like a short video out there with Zach's and Rossini's face talking about the aspects of the article. It's very odd. Very odd. I don't know where.
Promote the hell out of it because it gets so much clicks, as always. But that's what I'm saying, right? Like the Jets only get covered this way. Where are the pieces on Jacksonville? Where are the pieces that are like? How is there nothing on the Giants? I have heard some things about the Giants potentially coming out soon, but the Jets aren't the only bad football team. Like that's kind of my big thing. You know what I mean? It's like, and it's just like the leaks coming out and the excuse making for the people that were fired. It's so annoying.
But I thought it was very odd because this is the New York Times, and you wouldn't expect to see a hype video for a hit piece, no matter how good the reporting would be. And I don't know whether it's good or bad. I tend to think that they're like some of it is a little bit hard to believe. But do I think that there are some aspects of it that probably have an element of truth? Of course. And just like that, like when along the same vein, when you showed the clip of Garrett before, I think he was staggered a little bit, but I also think that when he thought about it in the moment, he wants to keep his options open. And with all this losing going on, who could blame this kid?
I agree with that. It's why I think it's all premature for any speculation. And the whole key is GM, coach, and they have him under contract for 2 more years. Extend them, right? We saw this with Ayuk. We saw this with Deebo Samuel. Jamar Chase wanted the new deal. Guess what? He didn't hold out. Like, at the end of the day, and Garrett doesn't strike me as a guy who'd do this, but, like, okay, he holds out. It's like, you're not going to not play football. And, like, Garrett doesn't strike me as that kind of guy at all either. So I'm not overly concerned about this on December 19th. I'll worry about it in the offseason when they hopefully hire competent people, because that's the only way this changes.
It's kind of a moot point. He's not going anywhere. But yeah, I mean, that's kind of how I feel about it. I would like to get to a spot where we would stop hearing about Woody and his family and the impact that they have downstream on the team. That's the dream. But nice. I do like the interview of Nagy today. The way you described him and the way that I'm hearing about him with these contacts across the league. That's kind of the outside the box thing that we want to kind of do right now. Maybe Aponte would be another good person to talk to right now, because she's not with the team right now. She's with the league, right?
Exactly. I would interview her. But yeah, I mean, keep the options open. Talk to the people you're allowed to talk to now, and you go from there.
Right. And we're going to be probably scrambling for people to talk to up until the point where the season ends. And then you can, have at it with, the Brian Gaines of the world and, whoever else you want to talk to from, the Dorseys and whoever else might take your fancy, Agnew, whatever.
Well said, Kyle. Good call. I'm glad you don't hear a jet. I'm glad you don't hear a jet chat in your headphones anymore. All right, quick update here. The Bobby Midnight Bounty is just 3 $5 super chats away. All right. For those who tuned in late, We set a goal on Bobby. There's 2 minutes and 20 seconds to get it. I contributed to the bounty. All right. Here's why there's a bounty on Bob. He's out of control and now going after me.
Well, I'm staying on. I don't give a crap for that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then.
Wow. Unbelievable. Unbelievable what I'm seeing here. Now, Bobby has called in. We have yet to hit our bounty number. So for at least right now, we will say hello, potentially, for the final time ever, to Bobby Midnight.
Well, you know, I have my own YouTube show. If I'm awake, I'm going live. But Les Jake has a show. Bobby.
Everybody throw me in the hole. Throw me in the hole. 3 more people. Throw me in the hole. Throw me in the hole. Only for 24 hours, right?
Or maybe ever.
It better be only for 24 hours.
I don't know. You've been kind of mean.
Oh, okay. Well, throw me in the hole, and then I'll throw. Okay, bye. Have a good day.
That's it? You're done?
Goodbye.
All right. You're trying to figure out how to X out of here. There you go. Man, you would think he would have more. I thought he'd be ready to go. Man. That was a pretty weak appearance, Bobby. You're better than that. I thought you'd have something for us. All right. Back to the calls we go. Let's go down to Houston right now, shall we? Let's say hello to Cody Stutes. Hello, Cody.
Hey, what's up, bud?
How are you?
I just, you guys are a fountain of entertainment up there with the Jets.
We are.
Just, I mean.
And we have a lot of infighting on this show right now, too. It's out of control.
I do think I have a spin for you on this story that I don't think you've gotten to yet or anybody said, but I have a spin for you here. This story coming out and making the rounds and having the Jets be the joke of social media and talking about Woody's kids and stuff. I think it's good. And here's why. Because if the kids think they're doing a bad job and everybody on social media is saying they're doing a bad job, maybe they get better at it because eventually it's going to be their team, right?
Yeah. Brick Johnson will one day be the owner.
That's his real name?
Brick.
Like God-given birth certificate, real name?
I believe it's Brick Ward.
Brick Ward?
I made that up. I'm not...
Brick Ward?
But honestly, I'm glad you called it because I referenced just how big of a bleep show it was with the Texans, with Easterby running the show. And I was like, the Texans are the best example on if you hire competent football people, it can turn. Because Cal McNair was a racist. He was the worst owner, everything they were saying about him. And you know what? To his credit, hires Nick Caserio, stuck with Caserio when Caserio was trying to get out of the mess and there were some questionable moves he made at the beginning. 3 coaches in 3 years, but now things have been stabilized, 2 straight playoff years. So you're in Houston. You cover the Texans. Your thoughts on the mess that was the Texans and how they eventually got out of it?
Look, it comes down to do what you can to get good players in the building. And like Caserio had to kind of have that weird couple of reset years because of the Deshaun Watson case, not being able to trade him right away.
Right.
It ended up working out great because if they traded him, when they could have, they probably draft one of those quarterbacks from that bad quarterback class. So it worked out great for the Texans because they had to kind of kick the can down the road. But yeah, look, there's going to be probably a year in there just kind of where the Jets were because you kind of accelerated so much. That's what the Texans in 2020 were accelerated to be good in 2020. They were awful. They fired Bill O'Brien, and then they were supposed to kind of bounce back. Then the QB wanted out. It's going to be a little bit different with the Jets because you're going to have to find a future QB regardless of who the 2025 QB is, stopgap, Aaron Rodgers, whatever. But you take a little bit of medicine in 2025, it should set you up for 26 and beyond. You got to go get good football players. You got to make sure that you have money to spend when you want to spend it in 27, 28, 29, where, if you get a bunch of the good picks in there, you could start to spend that money. That's right. I mean, the Texans spent $50 million on Danielle Hunter. He's going to $25 million a year, like the second year of DeMeco Ryans' tenure. So you got to have the money to spend. So 2025 might be hard pill to swallow. Take a little medicine.
It
But
really depends who they hire. Like if they hire Mike Vrabel, who well being in that division, and like let's say you get Aaron Rodgers as the bridge for another year. Like this team has had the lead in 5 of their last 7 games with a minute to go, and they're 2-5 in those games. Like their kicker cost them a bunch of games. It's like they have issues. There's things on the roster they got to address, but it's like the cover's not bare. So it's like my big thing is get the right football people and take advantage of some of the talent that is here and be competitive next year. Look what the Chargers did by just flipping the coach.
It's a lot closer to the Chargers situation than it is to the Texans situation, regardless of what the failing, no good athletic would tell you. The failing athletic,
yes,
no good. No.
Now, for those who don't
Diana
know,
Rossini making stories up, talking about Madden. We're talking about the NFL here, the greatest league in the world. She's talking about a video game. She's talking about a video game. The failing athletic. They give you. If it's worth $1, is it worth anything? You got to think about that. If they'll give it to you for $1, is it actually worth anything? It's probably not. And then they try to hit your credit card for $79.99. I could buy 7 Girls Gone Wild videos for that. 7. There's plenty of OnlyFans models I could support with that.
You know what you could do? You could support the bounty to send Bobby to the hole. I know you're a big Bobby Midnight guy. You've asked me about him in the past. Are you shocked to see what's happened here?
I can't believe he's turned heel on you like this.
Yes.
This is terrible. This is like when Hulk Hogan turned on WCW. Okay.
Man, look at some of these comments here. Chris M. Don't let Bobby in. That Oompa Loompa is going to hijack the show.
Well, he didn't look short. Is he short?
He's not the tallest fella.
Okay. All right. I'll say this. When I think of like the cadre of characters around a show host, I think about the Whack Pack with Howard Stern, and then I think about the Asmaniacs. It is strikingly similar.
Look at this. Look at this.
Get a whole lot of me.
Oh, hold on. I guess it's like a free shot.
What she said. Oh,
you're gonna get 9 pounds less than 2
This is
weeks
the Bobby
ago.
Midnight Show where they're live shit talking.
Bobby's gonna be able to go even longer now.
This is what's happening here.
Hey,
24 hours.
Shut the hell up. Shut the fuck up, okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
What are you gonna do, Bobby? What are you gonna do, big guy? Huh? What are you gonna do?
If you want to get thrown in the hole, just stay.
Oh, you got him. Hold on 1 second, Cody. I have some housekeeping to attend to. Yes, Bobby.
So, if you don't want to get thrown in the hole like me, come to my.
Now look what you've done, Bobby. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give them another 24 hours to think about it.
I made
Face on it. He already had your face ready to go.
No more protection from the Asmaniacs.
I made it in the hole, everybody.
It's a big fucking hole.
Yeah, that's what she said.
It gotta be a big hole for my fat ass.
I know a thing or two about
Yeah,
holes, and it's a pretty big hole.
Yeah. Oh, Billy Buffalo, shut the fuck up. This must be fat camp. Shut the fuck up. You're done. Billy Buffalo, shut the fuck up. Bye.
A very soft Bobby Midnight. He's not built to be a heel, folks. He made a big mistake. Cody, your thoughts as someone who is an outsider viewing this squabble, whatever the word I'm looking for is.
This is incredible. Does Brick know about Bobby Midnight?
Well, if he watches this show, he must.
Brick's got to watch this show.
I would hope.
Got to, right? It's the #1 Jets YouTube channel. Brick's got to watch this.
I hope, man. I hope. I mean,
I
look,
just-
if Brick and Woody were watching the show, I could have promised you we would not have gone 30-64 under Joe Douglas's tenure. We would have had a playoff team last year by adding a competent backup quarterback after the first drive of the season. God.
I just can't get over his name's Brick.
He was named after DeBrickashaw Ferguson, former Jet great.
Oh man,
there's a resemblance in height and skin tone as well.
That's strange. So when he messes some stuff up, would you say then that the Jets are then bricked up?
Yes, I did actually bring a prop for you, Cody.
Am I getting to all the jokes that have already been made? Am I too late here?
Yeah, you're a little late. We were bricked up for Jeff Obrick months ago. That hasn't exactly worked out well.
Oh, old Brick. Now there's Brick. Oh man, how often do you want to? How often do you want to take that brick and smash your own head in watching this team?
They have
Enough.
10 losses this year, plus 3 hit pieces this season.
3 hit pieces. Yes.
So,
Boy, Joe Douglas is singing like a canary, man.
Have you ever seen an organization leak this much amongst because people? I was trying to explain the backs, like where the sources come from. They come from people who've been fired. Sala, Douglas, coaches, front office people. Like that's where this is coming from. So it's like on one hand, Woody's bad, but on the other hand, he's bad because he's hired bad people. Like, don't give the people that were here that did a bad job a pass. That's what makes me lose my mind.
Yeah. I mean, this has got it feels very much like I feel like a lot of this is Joe Douglas. I can't imagine Bob Sala's doing a whole bunch of talking.
He's been gone for a while too. I feel like this is just like a lot of it's Douglas because the whole thing with the Judy stuff that was the big like gotcha in the headline. Like that's Douglas. That's front office.
Yeah. What did we find out? What did we find out? What his Madden rating was? That it was not good enough.
I don't know. You play any Madden these days?
No, I don't. Here's the thing, though. That article also said that the other guy's awareness rating wasn't good enough, and then he's been fine.
Right, but they said, and that was my point too, right? It's like if Woody meddles so much, but they signed that guy, so like we can't selectively choose when he meddles. Like, okay, he made the comment about John Simpson. He's been one of the better guards in the NFL, so yeah, that's a good signing. But there's no mention on all the other moves that Douglas made that haven't worked out, like the defensive line being completely dismantled and not the same, and the kicking game and everything else that's happened that he shouldn't get a pass for.
This could be good for the draft, though, because maybe the kids are playing NCAA football and they have an understanding of who the good NCAA football players are. So then they go to the league and you're like, oh, okay, like the kids know.
I think there's something to be said for that. Now, there are some questions coming in for you, Cody. Matthias wants your full thoughts on the Bobby and Jake feud.
I mean, I'm Team Jake on this, but, there's, I think, about 3 big turncoats all time. Benedict Arnold, Hulk Hogan, when he dropped the leg on Macho Man Randy Savage, Bash on the Beach 1996, and today when Bobby's done what he's done. 3 big turncoats.
Look at this. This is what we're dealing with here on the Bobby Midnight channel.
No.
What is this?
Butterbean knocked out. Are you Jake Paul?
That's me. This is me getting knocked out here. David White writes in. David, shout out to you, longtime Wheelhouse or former Wheelhouse listener. Jets have a 17-year-old in training for ownership. Is this worse than the Jack Easterby situation we had in Houston? This is what we were just talking about.
I don't think it's worse because I feel like this kid could get bullied into being good at this. Like if it's bad, he could be bullied into being good. Like that's a real possibility here. His friends are lighting his phone up. Like
his friends are like, bro, you suck.
His friends are like, you're why my dad, got mad at my mom last Sunday is because the Jets are bad. You're why dad left for cigarettes and never came back. Like, come on, man. like everybody he knows is blowing his stuff up right now. Like, dude, I can't believe you drafted blah, 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 who's awful, Or I can't believe you didn't like Jerry Jeudy, which, by the way, he's had like 5 good games. Like, let's not act like Jerry Jeudy is Terrell Owens all of a sudden. Like,
great comment here from native New Yorker. Why isn't Bill O'Brien the highest rated candidate? He develops quarterbacks, has a winning NFL coaching record, and is structured. What more could you want? Cody, you're a big Bill O'Brien guy. Please elaborate.
Let me tell you, if you love beating bad quarterbacks, if you love beating bad head coaches, and if you love not going to the Super Bowl when everybody else in your division goes to the AFC Championship or goes to the Super Bowl, then Bill O'Brien is your guy.
Here's the thing. Could you imagine Bill trying to deal with the New York media?
Oh, if he thought the Houston Chronicle was too tough on him, he would strangle somebody in New York.
That's what I said. I'm telling you, folks, I don't just make this stuff up. I was in the market with Cody Stoots for 6 years.
I'll without naming names, I'll tell the story. So O'Brien famously has had the name Teapot because he gets mad at people.
Oh, I know what story you're going to tell. This is a great story.
So a local writer had written after O'Brien took over as the general manager and decision maker. A local writer had written, hey, Bill O'Brien is simultaneously the arsonist and the firefighter putting out his own fire when they had some success. And I guess O'Brien read that because he did get the Houston Chronicle to his home as well as he got the Boston Globe to his home. And he was none too pleased. He was very short with that writer who asked a question in postgame, and he walked out into the hallway for a team-obligated television appearance with a local TV station. As he's walking out, he was mumbling that, bleep that guy because, he wants to call me an arsonist and a firefighter. Yeah, bleep that guy. And the local TV guy started laughing, to which O'Brien said, it's not funny. And then had to do the TV hit with the guy.
He would not do well in this market. I'm just telling you.
Oh, yeah, no.
It'd be bad.
It would not be good. He needs to stay at Boston College. If you have more Bobby drama, I can depart here.
I do have a super chat here from Joe the Jet. Robert Midday versus Jacob Asman. Yep. Look, the thing with Bobby is he's not the same jolly guy he used to be, right? I mean, like he used to be someone that would be jolly. Like, let me play you a couple clips, Cody, to give you a backstory. This is the Bobby we used to love.
Hi, everybody. This is Bob from Vermont. I am Bob, of course.
Okay.
But unfortunately, he's now
he's turned evil.
Yeah, and like, do I want to play this? Yeah,
what changed him?
A lot of people are saying that the influence of this guy named Allen corrupted his mind. All right, he's a known asshole. He embraces it, but it's rubbed off on Bobby. And there's a very specific clip. I can't find it though, but it needs to be played.
Why is this?
Hold on. It's worth finding.
The Asmaniacs are undefeated.
Just trying to give you an idea of what we're talking about. Here it is.
You're a dick. Yeah. Oh, you got one more call? You got enough for one more call? Look at Jake, he's laughing. I've been waiting in the back. You put that guy on. Who is he? You're a dick. Yeah. So how you doing, Robbie Sable?
Good. What's up, buddy? No, goodbye, Bobby. See ya. He was mad that I went to a first-time caller before I went to him. He thinks he should just get right on the show.
I mean, isn't there a way to do that if he wants to do that? Like, if you want to cut the line, there's ways.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm a capitalist, man. I mean, and also, Cody, you asked for it. You got it.
Let's get brick up.
Real quick before I let you go, what's your take on butter? Would you recommend eating a stick of butter every day?
I'm not getting into the butter discussion. I was involved in it yesterday in the chat. I'm not getting into I will say, butter's not as bad for you as people think, but you can't be having a stick of it.
All right, would you recommend for health purposes to have a salad?
Yeah, salad. Right. I know where this is
over
going.
A cigarette?
Salad. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we accomplished a lot, Cody. Well, we got to get you on more often, and you're a huge draft guy, so Cody will be a frequent guest, I would say, once we get into draft mode this offseason.
Yeah, I was pretty high on this wide receiver class, and I feel like I've done a pretty good job, kind of assessing where they were. I was probably a little higher on Malachi Corley than most, though.
Well, the coaching staff has no idea how to use him. He still might be good.
Yeah, he did drop that ball that one time. That was good.
He did.
Still won the game, though.
Yeah. What are Texans fans' reactions to like the Jets being a bleep show? It's like, how did we lose to that team?
Yeah,
for the second year in a row.
It's a lot of that. A lot of that. How are we healthy? Quarterback didn't get hurt. Had Nico, or had receivers that were worth a hoot. Had Joe Mixon, and how did we lose?
Yeah, I figured. All right. Well, Cody, well done, sir. All right. Well, and shout out to everyone in the chat who wrote in Wheelhouse Reunion. That means they're long-time listeners.
Long time.
Love that.
Long time. Appreciate you letting me jump on, man. I hopefully will never turn my back on you like Robert L. Midnight did.
Sad.
That's sad. Sad.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Cody Stutes. Check him out on YouTube. Talks Texans, NFL, big draft guy. He'll be a frequent guest on the show and my old radio partner from down in Houston. I'm going to get to more of your calls coming up. This super chat here from Rick is very interesting. Send Bobby to the hole and extend Garrett. If Brick inherits this team, give me a cigarette and a blindfold. Can't wait for the new regime. Rams big Sunday. I mean, I'd be very surprised if the Jets won Sunday, but you never know. I was surprised when I took Big Rob's call earlier, and he said this.
Women.
Still trying to figure out what he meant by that. Ladies and gentlemen, a great super chat has come in from one of our favorites, Craig in Australia. Jake, I'd say Australia stands with you, but I see a turncoat on Bobby's show. The office is going to be a bloodbath when I get there. Ladies and gentlemen, Craig joins us right now down in Australia. Craig, what do you make of the drama between Bobby Midnight and the Asmaniacs?
Mate, I can't get over who I'm seeing in there. One person in particular who should be in extreme fear at this point when I get to the office. It's going to be bad. So I'm very loyal. I love Bobby. That goes without saying. I love pretty much everyone who's on there, but I'm very loyal, you see. So I don't know what to make of this. Hopefully it ends up just a storm in a teacup type thing. But look what's happening. She's calling me.
Oh, Sarah's the turncoat. Unbelievable.
No. She's gonna have to wait till I get there. It's all over. I cannot be distracted on this call. So yes, I stand with you, my friend. Whatever the hell's going on, I don't even really know.
It all goes back to Alan, really. Alan, as I believe, and many have reached out privately, and I think there's some validity to it, has turned Bobby into something he's not. All right, Bobby's a jolly, joyful human. And lately, he's been mean. He was mean to the caller that called in for the first time in that clip I just played. That was a couple weeks ago. I thought what he did to BMAC last night was insane, throwing him under the bus that way. And we have him on tape. For those just tuning in, the reason why Bobby's currently in the hole for at least this show is what he said on his show earlier.
Well, I'm staying on. I don't give a rest of that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then.
Strong.
I'm shocked and I'm horrified. I was also thinking if we're going to come up with Star Wars characters for all our callers, Alan is definitely the Emperor. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
He's the Emperor. Bobby's Darth Bobby. It's unbelievable. I mean, I never thought I'd see the day, Craig.
Me either. Well, it might interest you to know that Luke, as in EB, he's a mad Star Wars fan. So I'm going to get him on this job of nominating all our regulars and who's who.
I love it. We definitely need a Jar Jar Binks. So tell him to work on that one.
Worst character ever.
At the worst.
So yeah. So I mean, that might not be too difficult to come up with something.
Exactly. I'm glad you knew where I was going with that one.
Yeah. Look, most of my friends, believe it or not, now like in this community. So I'm not really going to burn anyone at this point. So I'll let everyone else nominate them. No, but what you can do. I have actually a football question for you.
Yes, sir.
This game we just played, and right at the end with a minute to go, first and goal, Jags have got 2 timeouts, and I'm watching it live. I got up at 4:30 and everything. I'm watching it live, and Mrs. Craig, she always comes out by about halftime, right? So that's good enough. And the play's about to start, and I said, "Oh, look, this is what's going to happen. They'll take at least 2 knees, and then they'll kick the field goal, and then they'll have 10, 20 seconds." And then that didn't happen, and I'm like, "Oh." see, and then I said to her, I said, see, this is what I know about this game. I don't know shit. You know what I mean? It's what I thought would happen. And then I'm looking at Discord and it's what everyone's saying. So question to you is,
you know more than an NFL head coach. That's Craig in Australia, who was not born in the United States, did not grow up watching the NFL, knew what to do in the end of game situation more so than the guy who's paid millions to know what to do in that spot. Craig, you were 1,000% right. How they handled it was egregious, and I called it out all week on the show. It was a joke. They're like another example why everyone's got to go, and you cannot wait for the hope of them potentially hiring competent coaching with this next hire.
but here's my question, right? Jeff Ulbrich played the game at the highest level for years and years and years and years, and then he's coached, the second highest job as a DC for years and years and years. How does he not know that? What's going on up here? Do you know? Does anyone know?
Pressure. And his answer after the game made it look worse. He's like, we wanted to stick the nail in the coffin. No, you opened the coffin, actually. You gave Jacksonville a chance. If you just, as you said, need it twice, then kick the field goal. They have 20 seconds, no timeouts, and you're in a great spot. Even if they need it twice and then just ran it in, they'd let Bree score. So at least you made them use their 2 timeouts first. So that just to score on the first play made no sense. And you in Australia knowing it, that just shows you how obvious it was. It's crazy.
It's the strangest thing. So anyway, I'll be up at 4:30 again. For
you
the
would
Rams.
be a better in-game coach than Jeff Ulbrich, Craig. You proved it.
I actually think in overall it'd be a lot worse. I promise you. Time management is about the only thing I do understand. I do try and watch. I always never miss Andrew Fialco, but I never understand.
I don't understand either. I've been watching football my whole life. He's so smart.
Complete dark art. But I'm very grateful I got to meet him in the end. And only question for me now, mate, is what do? Do I go on this show?
We say hello to Sarah, who joins us right now. The turncoat.
Oh, you're gone, mate. It's over. I'm coming to get you. You know it.
You're weak. You can't even answer a phone call. I
was waiting to talk to Jake. Who do you think I'm going to prioritize?
Don't give me that.
You crazy?
Yeah, let's go, Craig.
It's going to be ugly.
Sarah,
Jake.
how could you?
Give me Jake.
How could you, Sarah?
Shocking. Unbelievable. I don't know what to tell you, mate.
You're the one that started the war.
No,
Come on,
no.
There needs to be peace and love. Bobby was on first, and then you came on.
Came on what? I come on every day.
Why?
You can wait until he's finished for one.
But I come on around the same time every day. Today I had a work thing, so I couldn't start till 5:30. But we literally do 2 shows a day around these parts.
So?
Well, let's just say
the war.
But that's not my war with Bobby. My war. Have you seen the footage, Sarah? Have you seen what he said about me and what he did to BMAC and how he's acted lately? Did you see the footage?
No, I haven't seen the footage, but it's not going to make me love Bobby any less.
Sarah,
haven't done your research.
Watch the tape, baby. Watch the tape.
Well,
Shut up,
I'm
boss
staying
man.
on. I don't give a rat's that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then.
Now you're going to put me in the hole. Are you kidding me,
no.
Jake?
Are
you kidding me?
I just think you need some. You needed to hear the full story. That's what we're working with here.
Sarah's going in the office
No,
hole.
but you
This
just
is what's going to happen.
comment that I'm
Don't
going
worry
in
about
the
that.
hole.
It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. I'm going to get you.
Oh,
worry.
whatever, mate.
There's fights all over the
I'm
place.
afraid of you.
Wait. I think I never thought I'd see the day where I'd have to play this for this type of interaction with you two, but here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, sports fans of all ages, welcome to the event of the year, the moment you've all been waiting for. This is the Asmaniac Rumble.
I don't know what to tell. I don't know what to tell you. No, you're tough now until I get there.
Boom, boom, boom.
You're tough now. Enjoy it while it lasts. It's okay. You can do that. You know what's going to happen. You know.
Why you little?
That's right. It will. So you better get Hawk over here sooner rather than later. That's all I'm telling you.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
What a turn of events there, huh? Craig and Sarah, head to head. Ladies and gentlemen, hit the like button if you're tuning in. Comments, questions, super chats. We'll cut the line. I'll continue to take your calls here. Matthias writes in, draw your lightsabers. Matthias wrote in, Jar Jar Binks is Gary. I like that comp. That's pretty good. Matthias says, Darth Bobbis, a new Sith, has arrived. 25. I smell a severance package coming for Sarah. Kikuchi writes in, Bobby's mad, but did he forget you got him to the game and on the field for free? But don't forget he switched up on the Giants too. Unfortunately, we couldn't get him on the field because he couldn't move, which is what helped spark the diet stuff, of which I pledged to pay him $10 for every pound lost. And he's already lost 9 pounds, so you do the math. All right, more of your calls right now. We got a lot of people that want in on the conversation. Joining us right now on the Gus Buster hotline is someone who's calling us from the hole. Bobby, that's you?
Yeah.
Now look what you've done, Bobby. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
More of your calls right now. Let's say hello to Nick Shine. Hello, Nick.
This is the day I didn't know I needed. This is what Bobby always swore. I'll never go on when Jake's on. I'll never go on when Nick's on. And then here we are. This is what 4 and 10 gets us, I guess.
It's been a weird year, but man, the Bobby show must go on. Here's a live look at it for those curious. I think we're down to just 3 people on the screen.
Well, Sarah is fixing her resume right now to apply elsewhere.
I never thought I'd see the day Craig and Sarah would go head to head.
That's it, man. Bobby and Jake going at it today. Sarah and Craig. Who knows what else is in store today?
Dave Riga has turned on me because I made Bobby. I didn't make him. I said Bobby should apologize to B-Mac. We know how Dave feels about B-Mac.
Well, Addison's his co-host. You know Addison's watching your show on one device. He's giving Bobby updates.
So look at Sarah. The turncoat is back on the Bobby Midnight Show, just like that. Nick?
I'm sorry. I was about to go in on one of the commenters, but I didn't want to attack on your show.
Oh God. Wow, look at all these turncoats here. Look at them. Unbelievable.
It's a tough day, man. I had to show my allegiance to both you guys. Do I have to have you both come on tonight and hash this out? Do we have to arrange a meeting of the minds?
Look, I'd be happy to talk, but I stand by everything I've done. I haven't done anything personal to Bobby. We put a bounty on him, put him in the hole. He badmouthed me on his own show. We had the footage. I don't think I'm out of line here. I really don't.
I love that. I'm going to brace you for this. I did tell him you need to go on Jake and demand money from Jake for playing your show during his show without your permission. So that's coming at you soon.
I'll tell you what, Bobby. If you think I'm giving you another dime, all right? All right.
Weight loss pledge, though, still stands, right?
I'll wipe my Jake Asman with this before I ever give it to you, Bobby. Yeah, no, I'm still pledged. I'm a man of my word. For every pound he loses, I'll still give him $10.
Nice. I've never enjoyed a day on YouTube like I've enjoyed the last hour and a half here. This has been remarkable and good work, everybody. This has been fun.
There's a lot of drama with the Jets and the Asmaniacs. It's almost fitting.
Everyone's on edge, man. Everyone's waiting to go. If Bobby is going against you, who knows what else could happen? Like everything's on the table. Every matchup is there. We have like a Jets WrestleMania thing going on. We got to get a whole card.
I know it's sad, right, Bobby? It's sad what you've become.
Here, you see everybody.
It's sad what you've done.
Jake, I don't want your money, okay? Don't.
Now look what you've done, Bobby. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
He's even stealing my lines. He says he doesn't want my blood money anymore. That means I don't have to pledge any more money for his weight loss journey. All right, Bobby. In that case, I hope you have 17 butter sticks a day. All right.
Oh, you want him to cut down?
According to Gary,
you want him to lessen the load?
According to Gary, he dropped 200 pounds overnight if he did that. Man,
He's got the Amish pulling up to his house with buckets, the Home Depot buckets in the back, dropping off butter at his front door.
It's sad. Boomtown writes in, first time ever sent to the hole for the third time on the same show. 25 writes in, let's get Bobby
in a hole.
All right, here's what we'll do. If the people want it, this is what the new YouTube bounty feature is all about. Ladies and gentlemen, it'll be a quick bounty here. 10 super chats of $2 or more, and we will give Bobby his one phone call. Okay, and ladies and gentlemen, we are now live. One phone call with Bobby Midnight. All right? Everyone can contribute. Tom Ace says the people demand Bobby's phone call. 10 super chats, $2 a pop. And we'll get his one phone call. We'll let him say his piece. Your thoughts on that, Nick Shine, as a fellow content creator, a fellow Bobby Midnight supporter?
This is levels of content I can only hope to get to. This is captivated. There's more people watching between your two shows than are watching a Jet game right now if it was on. That's where we're at right now.
I would argue this channel can be at times more entertaining than the Jets.
Of course it is. You know why? It doesn't wait till midway through the third quarter to get interesting. It starts off. You score on the opening drive. You score in the first half. And you don't blow the lead at the end of the show. So
how about this for a comment? Well, I love this comment here from Jorge. Qui-Gon Shine.
I don't watch Star Wars. I have no idea what they're talking about. I don't watch any sci-fi. It's not my thing.
No way. All right.
I'm not a sci-fi guy at all. I know. I'm going to get hate in the chat for that, but it's 30 years of not liking it.
Purple Belt Mike writes, in Boomtown, can we make a Star Wars Asmaniac lineup? Boomtown, assuming you're well-versed in Star Wars, that would be pretty epic. Now, there is a great question that I do need some feedback from the chat here before we potentially raise enough money for Bobby's one phone call. J Quest writes in, does this eliminate Bobby in the top 10 of callers for the month of December? Committee has a tough decision to make. I don't believe it does, J Quest, because you could be sent to the hole and still be back the next day and have a role on the show. So I think Bobby is still obviously in contention, and that's up for the committee to decide what they want to do with the month's top 10. Ladies and gentlemen, yeah, go ahead.
Does Bobby coming on air multiple times throughout the show count as Bobby calling in separate times for the month? Does that boost his call-ins?
Well, let me tell you, I don't know how Boomtown tracks that. If someone calls in twice, is that two separate calls or is it all in one?
He tracks how many call-ins happen.
Boomtown, you're the official scorekeeper of the program. You're the historian as well. You let us know how you count the stats. Kikuchi says, Bobby sundowning, 25. Bobby Midnight Supremacy. Craig says, free Bobby eventually. Bethpage Chris, I don't know why. Bobby said I hate him. Nate, free Bobby Schmurda. Ladies and gentlemen, according to YouTube, we are just 5 super chats of $2 or more away from Bobby Midnight getting on the line. We're now.
You got a good one too. This is the only one. This is the most important one. Big fella sent him $20 last week to get vitamins, and every day he's asking Bobby, "Did you get the vitamins yet?"
Ladies and gentlemen, for more on this, we bring on Bobby Midnight. Bobby, did you get vitamins? Bobby,
I don't have the. But you don't have the answer.
Now look what you've done, Bobby. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.
Didn't sound like he got vitamins to me there, Nick Sean.
I just got a text that says they think Gator thinks Bobby banned me from his show.
He banned you?
Well, here's the thing. I have Bobby's login, so I can just go in to his show and I can knock him off of his show if I choose to. I might have to do that now. Then I might have to go remove Bobby from his own show. You want to start a war? Are we the mega powers? Are you and I the mega? Bobby, what are you doing?
Look at the show right now. Look at these people that are quite the turncoat. Sarah, Dave Brigger, I almost understand. I actually respect it in a way. He hates BMAX so much that he's turned to Bobby as his ally, which is truly incredible. But I mean, look what we have going on in this show. Look at Jaden. I mean, this is just unbelievable. Unbelievable.
I'll be back. I'm executing it. He wants to start with me. I'll do it.
Wow. This is all turning. Nick, you take care of business, all right?
I'll be back.
Ladies and gentlemen, look at this. Look at this. Do we see what's happening here? Look at Dave Brigger. Unbelievable. This is just a wild turn of events, folks. I never thought we'd be here. I never thought we'd have 3 hit pieces in like a month come out about the Jets this year either. And we did talk Jets at the beginning of the show before we got to the Bobby Midnight controversy. Craig writes in, jail Sarah. Great point. Mike wants the phone call. Kikuchi, Bobby got butter with that money. Ladies and gentlemen, we are 1 super chat away from Bobby's 1 phone call. While we wait, let's say hello to Bobby's co-host. Addison joins us now. Addison, what do you make of the drama?
I don't know, Jake. I'm in a really tough spot here because, I love Bobby. I'm his co-host, but without you, I wouldn't know Bobby at all or anyone else. So I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place here, Jake.
It's tough.
I was on a show right now.
Mm-hmm. What's the vibe like on the show? Are people defending Bobby, or is anyone saying, hey, maybe this is not the right approach? You don't do this?
It's... Damn it, my phone. It's about as split as it can possibly be. I hate to see it, but it's just what's going on right now. And I don't know what side of the fence to fall on. It's so tough. It's really tough on me, especially. I don't know what to do here, Jake.
It's just sad because I feel like Bobby is listening to the Emperor. He's listening to Alan. And that's really where all this starts. Would you agree, knowing kind of the backstory here, that Alan's influence has had something to do with what we've seen from Bob?
Well, something's got in Bobby's head, I guess, and I don't think that you're the right target that he should be aiming at, Jake. That's just my take on it. And I'm sorry that you're in the sights, but I'll try to push the gun whenever he pulls the trigger because you can't go down like this. And I know you won't.
I'll tell you what, Addison. I appreciate it, and we've raised enough money for Bobby Midnight's 1 phone call. Ladies and gentlemen, let's acknowledge who contributed. Matthias, he writes in, Nick, about to blow up the Bobby Death Star show. Where's Luke Skywalker? Kikuchi says, you know who to blame. Diana Rossini. Chef Kevin writes in, free Schmurda. Uno Jets, Jake call Bobby. New Jersey Super Trucker. Bobby has been training with Jake Paul. Oh, really? Ladies and gentlemen, let's see if we can make amends or if the rumble between Bobby and I will continue. We say hello right now for perhaps the final time ever on this show to Bobby Midnight.
Oh, I like the Yankees and the Jets. Can't believe Jake and Roger met. I'm more than just a hat on Bobby. What? I'm in the hole. Put me in the hole. I'm in the hole. What am I doing on here? I'm on the hole. But I want to talk to your friend Gary. Is Gary Shoots around?
I would like to talk to you. I want to talk to Shoots guy. Is Shoots guy still on? Mike Valletta, won't you mind your damn business? You never call in, so shut the fuck up, okay, dumbass?
Language, Bob. It's your one phone call. Don't blow it.
Yeah, I'm done with my phone call. Have a good day.
All right, people paid for a phone call. You're going to give them this?
No, I want to talk to that guy Gary. You're from Texas.
His name is not Gary.
Whatever his name is, I want to talk to him. He talked about me. I heard what he said.
He's not on
I want
hold.
to talk to him. He doesn't even know me. Well, you better call his ass up and get him on.
You were supposed to join the Sith, not join them.
No, I'm going to bed at 10. I'm done at 10. I'm done at 10 o'clock. I'm going to bed at 10.
Adam J says, I hate Bobby.
Shut up. No, I hate you too. I banned you on my show. Get the fuck out of here, okay? Jake, you told us that you were going on, so I decided to go on. Then do I have to get off my show to be? It's a free country.
Of course
What
not.
is this? I have to be off your show.
I have no beef with you because you did your show. I always told you to do your show. I have beef with you because of what you said in that clip I played and how you treated BMAC and how you're listening to Alan.
Oh, well, I'm staying on. I don't give a rat's that. So
How much Jets
okay.
content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time. Alan is here. Alan, how you doing? I told you, do not give him any more money. If he's going to continue to throw you in the hole, do not give him any money. Treat him like shit then. Okay, Jake. I'll my show now. So enjoy your show. Okay. Have a good show. I love you.
Whoa.
Bye
whoa,
now.
whoa.
I'll see you later.
Why are you trying to be nice all of a sudden?
No, I'm gonna have dinner. No, I'm having dinner. I'm eating dinner now. I'm eating dinner now. No, I'm having dinner. I'm hungry. I'm hungry.
Andrew Fialco writes in, Bobby switching sides is crazy work, man. Also, Bobby, just so you know, this is the most subscribers
I'm
you've ever
not
gotten.
going on it. I don't want it.
Hey, Bobby, this is the most subscribers you've ever gotten in a single stream ever. So I want $20 for promoting you.
Yes, I'm hungry. Jake, have a good night. I'll let you finish your show. I'm sorry I interrupted on your show. Okay, have a great night. Bye.
He's on his show doing this call here. What? I expected more from Bob. I thought he'd bring it more. Now, let me get to the other scoundrel involved in this controversy. I'm going to roll it back. Focus in on the guy who says there's no Jet content to talk about right now on the day a bombshell hit piece came out. Who could that be? Take a listen. You might recognize the voice.
Well, I'm staying on. I don't give a rat's that.
How much Jets content do we really need at this point?
No, he said planning on going live around 5:30. Oh, a lot happened then to discuss. Okay, yeah. Oh, yeah, a lot. Yeah, no, I'm staying right here. We're going a long time.
It all goes back to Ted, that scoundrel, that pot stirrer. And he joins us right now. You started all this. You got him going. You knew exactly what you were doing. Stirring the pot the Ted way.
Jake, I'll be honest with you. I was working with the camera up in the air, unloading my trailer. I had no idea. I probably worked a 13-hour stupid day, and I had no idea what came out. I'll be honest with you. I really didn't. If I'm the cause of this, I do apologize. I want you and Bobby to be, on a friendly basis at least.
Pot stirrer Ted. Pot stirrer Ted.
On Bobby's show, just doing my work. That's why my camera was off later. And then I see your chat and they're trashing me. And I'm like, what? I didn't say anything. I'm like, what? And then
What you did. This is why it's called Ted U, baby. This is why I went to the school of pot stirring, baby. Ted University.
All right, Jake, your certificate's in the mail, okay?
Alan is Emperor Palpatine. Ted is Count Dooku. I do love that we have basically turned the show into a bunch of Star Wars references as well. Pastor writes in, Bobby is out of control. Hashtag Team Jake.
Jake, do we really believe everything that's written? I mean, what percentage of that do you believe is true?
I think there's some things that are clearly exaggerated. I think there's some things that are true that aren't like that big of a deal. Like, you're going to bring up the Madden stuff, for example, with Jerry Jeudy, but then you leave it in there that Woody also made a comment about John Simpson, but you signed John Simpson. So you can't tell me Woody's meddling if you still signed the guy that he apparently had an issue. You know what I mean? It's just like there's too much inconsistencies. I'll say this. The Jets it's like open season on them right now, and I hope Woody Johnson acknowledges, hey, I got to get these hires right and then stay out of the way. And I think he will, because we heard nothing of this for the first 5 years of Douglas and the first 3 of Saleh. The problem is when you lose, this is when that stuff comes out. So as we talk about the impact and going forward, look, you had the greatest coach ever reach out, wanted to interview for the job. So I think they're still going to be able to talk to top candidates. And Woody's never been cheap. So he better be willing to write a check and get the top guys in here, because that's the only way this changes.
Do you think this hurts the franchise at all? I mean,
it could, but I think they're still going to have a chance to rectify it if they bring in the right people.
Gotcha. Okay. Hopefully things will calm down. Like I said, I came in late. I didn't know it was such a ruckus going on, but
you really caused a firestorm today, Ted.
Really, worse than my Vrabel takes, I guess.
I mean, this is basically just as bad. Look what the Bobby Midnight Show has become. All right, look at this. Look at this is all because of you. Look at Bobby lean back in his chair. Yeah, you lean back, Bob. All right, you fraud.
All right, Jake. I appreciate it. I'll be in both streams.
Ted, of course you will, you pot star. Thank you for the time. It's been an unreal day, man. As if there's not enough drama with the Jets. J-Quest says the 30 for 30 is going to be crazy. Pastor Carlos, Bobby's out of control. Vinny says, yo, Rob, I got your back. What'd you say? Kyle says, callers should just direct anger towards Gary. Big fella. Bobby, my friend, the butter is making you angry. All right, more of your calls right now. Let's check in with David T. And then I think we got Jet Royalty on the line, which we'll get to. Jet Twitter Royalty, I should say. David T's up next. What's up, David?
Hi, Jake. I was going to get into my Santa Claus routine, but I just want to say you are masterful at what you do. The whole Bobby thing, you're working on him. And, a little bit earlier, I was thinking, well, maybe Bobby's going to hit the bottom and Jake will bring him back. But you know as well as I do, and he's got a lot of people that love him, but you're the main man. You're not I'm going to go above a brother figure, but you're like a father figure, and he wouldn't be where he is without you. But you're making it. You're good. You're working on him. You're talking to other people, and he's coming around. So I think down the road this will all be squared away.
I agree, David. I think ultimately we cannot. Just Darth Vader eventually came back to the good at the end. It took a little bit, but there was still some good in there. All right, Luke proved that at the end. So we got to hope something like that could happen with Bobby.
Yeah, and you know what? You're making it fun, and we're all, it's almost like a family. You get into beefs and arguments once in a while, but you love the people you love. Now,
David, let me ask you about your glasses. It looks like they're a little crooked there.
Yeah, these are my reading glasses. But crooked, yeah, I do wear crooked glasses. But I have my contact lenses in, and then if I read, I wear these to read.
Now, do you think the crooked glasses has contributed to the eye irritation you've talked about?
Oh no, my gosh, no, I don't think that at all.
Well, it's good to hear. It's good to hear. I just want to make sure.
Now, do you have time for me to get into my Santa Claus routine?
Do I have time? I got all night for your Santa Claus routine. Are you kidding me?
Okay, so this is how I was originally gonna call in, and why I have my reading glasses on. I was gonna say, "Ho ho ho, Jake! This is Santa here. I just want to let you know in my mailbox I got a letter from a Jets fan, and it's not long, and it says, "Dear Santa, I am a Jet fan, and Jet fans are all stressed out right now, so much that we are getting at each other." Turn the page. We know Christmas is for kids, so after you take care of the kids for Christmas, turn the page. Could you get us a good GM? And I like the guy from Atlanta. Santa Claus likes the guy from Atlanta, Dimitrioff. A good coaching staff, and Santa Claus likes Mr. Brable, and a good team for next year. Thank you, Santa, and yours truly, Jet fan.
David, that was truly remarkable. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome, Jake.
Ladies and gentlemen, David T, a.k.a. Santa Claus. And let me tell you something, folks. For a guy who did not call this show until November 20th for the first time, I think a number one seed in the tournament in March is in play. I think he's a top 4 seed. I think he has a chance. All right? Now, we know the field's stacked. Asmaniac Madness is going to be unlike anything we've ever seen before. But I truly believe David T's got a shot. That was an incredible call right there. 25 writes in. Did David read out the turn the page? God. Hold on. I just got a text from Gator. He wrote, "Show's an all-timer." When are we getting a David T intro, Gator? I think it's time. David's doing yeoman's work the last month. Ladies and gentlemen, I mentioned we got Jet Royalty on the line. I'm a huge fan of this guy. I think he's got one of the best Twitter accounts. He's one of the best Jet fans I know. And he once gave a breakfast sandwich to a former Jet wide receiver. Ladies and gentlemen, NYJ Matt is next. What's up, Matt?
How's it going, brother? Thanks for having me.
Welcome aboard, man. You stepped into the madness. This has been a wild one.
I love it. I've been watching the show all night, and you have been making exactly the right points. Two things can be true at once. You can have a bad owner, and you can also have a media that, for some reason, keeps picking on this poor team, and they won't stop. And it's been a wild day for sure.
It's like, and I hate because when you try and talk about a story like this with nuance, people are like, "Yeah, you're a shill," or "Stop defending Woody." And it's like, I'm not defending Woody, but I also don't want to give a pass to like how bad this coaching staff and front office had been, because that's too easy to just blame the owner. He's not selling. He's here. So what I hope is he can learn from this stuff, while at the same time we can acknowledge it's not just Woody Johnson why this team under Joe Douglas was 30-64. Like, people seem to leave that out.
Yeah, and he meddled by getting Devontae Adams. Like, God forbid, right? Like, it's okay. And look, if you give a guy 5 years, he doesn't build a team, and in the offseason you go get a Hall of Fame left tackle, didn't work out, right? Go get Mike Williams, didn't work out, my bad. But then, like, you be aggressive because you're 78 years old and you want to win. So no defense of Woody Johnson at all. My biggest concern with these articles is if you pull half-truths forward and the Madden rating thing, you start bringing these things forward, Like, how does that impact free agents, your new GM, new head coach? And look, where are these stories about the Jaguars, right? You have a head coach that kicked the kicker. And if you take all these out of context things from the background, I'm sure you could make 40 articles about any team in the NFL.
You can. It's 100%. I said this actually earlier to someone too. Like you could say this about the Giants in the same city. Like there was a story that came out this week, Matt, that the Giants PR contacted the guy who does the Talking Jets podcast or Talking Giants podcast. Bobby Skinner, I believe is the host name. He does a really good job. And he basically put out a video saying the Giants should fire Joe Shane, and Giants PR like threatened him, like, "Oh, we're not going to give you anyone on your show. We're not going to give you access. Like, take it." It's like, and they laughed at him. Like, but could you imagine if the Jets public relations staff reached out to Green Bean or Boy Green or Matt O'Leary and said, "You better take these videos." Like, you know what I mean? Like how that would be covered. It would be everywhere. Mike Florio would have 25 articles on it. There's not a peep about it because it's the Giants. So I think that is a great point you bring up, how it's not just the Jets who are bad and have issues. There's a lot of issues at hand here.
Yeah, and you're hurting a franchise, which, look, no saving the Jets. They've earned where they're at. They had the wrong head coach hired, the wrong GM hired for a decade and a half. I get it. But you're now impacting a fan base where if we don't land a GM or head coach because all these articles are coming out with half-truths, it's going to impact a million-plus fan base that's been dying for a win. And look, I'm, again, no Woody Johnson defender. I just think this recent article, it's like there's going to be a 3.0. Like there will be another article probably in January or February when players leave the building, more stuff comes to light, and we're going to have to do the whole thing again. And it's like, when is the end in sight? With Rosenblatt and Rossini right now, they have an axe to grind, and nobody has grinded a harder axe than them. Like they have something against the Jets, and they are going to keep going. And if their page views keep going up, their editors are going to be happy. So what's stopping them from continuing it? It's going to be a tough time.
Man. It's nonstop. You're right. And, well, the only thing I could hope is that because they fired Saleh when they did and Douglas when they did, we're getting these, like, hit pieces out of the way now. So, like, think about it. If they had waited and then they fired Douglas in January, these stories are coming out as they're starting the process to try and get candidates, you know? So you get it out of the way because it gives the Jets time to prepare what their answers are going to be from candidates. You say, hey, what's true about this? Am I going to have autonomy to make moves here? Are you going to meddle? Like, it gives you an opportunity to be equipped and prepared for it. So I actually think no one wants to give the Jets any credit. I get it. But firing Douglas when they did is a proactive move. It's the right move because it gives you time to hopefully get these hit pieces out of the way and be prepared for the answers you're going to need to provide to these candidates when they ask you about these stories that are coming out.
Yeah, and Joe Douglas and Saleh praised Woody, Chris, and Jaime for years about how they're the best and they give them everything they need, and they rave about them. And those comments in 2024 started taking a back seat as things change, which I completely get. But I almost feel like Saleh's coming out of this almost a little bit better because these reports didn't hit to a home as much when he was fired. I think 1.0 article came out, but I feel like most of this is coming from Joe Douglas and his camp, and both of them deserve to go. We completely get it. But man, you've done a great job covering it. We'll see where it goes. But thanks for letting me join for a minute and saying my piece. Again, I feel like 3.0 is coming. And if Rosenblatt toes the line, we've seen the Jets PR team who deserve a bonus this Christmas to what they've dealt with for the last 3 to 4 months. The Jets PR team has been phenomenal. Rosenblatt's getting into some tight waters here. The more you bring up the kids, the more you bring up that. Like, we've seen a credential pulled from an SNY member, a Daily News member, right, 3 to 4 years ago. I get very concerned about more of this coming out. The Jets say you're no longer having credentials, and if you go down that road, it's going to get toxic. So I'm very curious to see where they go this offseason if they keep going at the manner in which they've been doing it.
I don't think it will get to that. I do think in a month, we won't be talking about this anymore because they'll have my personal preference, Mike Vrabel and whoever the GM is in place, or someone that is now the new coach and GM, and that's the focus. Because at the end of the day, we could argue about like these stories and whatnot, but it's in the past. Douglas is gone, Saleh is gone. The only thing you and I care about as Jet fans is how do we get this right? How do we stop losing and being a joke every year? Like, did you renew your season tickets? I think you tweeted that you did, right? So like, you want to watch winning football next year? Like, we're sick of it.
I deferred them, so I'm going to, and
yeah.
I posted about it and I get 100 replies. Like,
dude, you're one of the most positive fans out there, and it kills me when people like go at you for trying to like accentuate one of the few positives on this team where a great player makes a play. People are like, so it doesn't matter. Like, dude, the way you get it bad on Twitter, man. I give you a lot of credit for how you deal with it.
Yeah, like I tweeted after a loss, like, hey, Joe Tippmann, is he making a run here to be a top 12 center to end the year? And every reply is killing me. But Mike takes it pretty bad, my buddy, because he's very pro Rodgers.
Yeah.
I am too. I think there's a clear path you could bring him back. I've been saying that even before he had back-to-back good weeks. But yeah, Twitter's very fun. I take nothing serious on there, and usually it's 99% positive. But when I talked about my tickets, I said, hey, look, I've had season tickets for as long as I can afford them. I love going to games. I'm going Sunday. I understand, but if you think me canceling my tickets is going to make Woody Johnson sell the team, I got another thing coming for you. And it's a big thing about everyone's, oh, do what you want with your money. But yeah, I'm a season ticket holder. I did defer them where I can make the payment in February because I do want to see who they hire and what they do at quarterback. If Mike Vrabel's there for the taking and you get a first-time coordinator not named Ben Johnson, things get a little tricky. So we'll see what I end up doing. But the lean is I'm probably going to renew them for, I think, year 7 now, which is crazy.
So, and year 7, and what's the most amount of wins you've seen? 7, right? You've seen 7. That's the max amount of wins you've seen in the season then.
Yeah, I used to go to every game. This year I've not gone in a bit because I just don't want to sit in the cold and watch the team lose. But I am going this Sunday for my buddy who's going to be there. But yeah, I hope they make the change. And if you're a Vrabel guy 1-1, it's a no-brainer to me. You get a first-time coordinator. Even Ben Johnson's awesome and everybody wants it, but you never know how a first-time head coach is going to be. Get Mike Vrabel, get an adult in the building, and we can get to a winning path. So that is definitely my one pick as well.
I agree. All right, a couple questions for Matt, who is, of course, famous for a lot of reasons, but probably the biggest thing was the Mike Williams breakfast sandwich. You sending that to him?
That was a big one. Yeah,
Yep.
That was good.
Jay Quest wants to know, Matt, can you send arsenic to Woody?
No. But I did make a Woody, like a AI photo of like Woody and Diana Rossini like mending, giving each other a quick kiss, and a lot of the replies to that, I put recording Badlands on top of it. Like I'm trying to build bridges here. Let's get Woody and Diana in a room together. Let's fix this.
That's fine. That's a deep cut for those who got that one. And then Chef Kevin writes in, NYJ Matt, who's the next free agent to get a sandwich? So it's actually a great point. Are we done trying to do the sandwich thing because Mike Williams turned out to not be good, or because it was such a great moment, it's still worth maybe doing for another potential free agent the Jets are targeting this offseason?
It was a good moment. You probably got to bury it. It was funny, though, because I did it. I didn't think anything of it, and it blew up. It wasn't like I was trying to, like, do anything crazy with it. And all the people that were like, you are a hero, thank you, the moment he got traded and started dropping passes and didn't run the right route, every reply was like, sandwich boy, you're the worst. I hope you die. Like, it just went crazy. So I get it. I'll probably probably won't do it again. But I did have an idea of maybe having a bunch of people send a breakfast sandwich to Jets facility and maybe try to get change with the ownership. Didn't do that because I didn't want to make the Jets even more in a negative light. But no, I think we'll find out if there's a prize free agent and maybe we run it back in a couple of years from now.
I love it. All right, Matt, you have a podcast as well. I'd be remiss if you didn't plug it so people can check it out.
Yeah, Broadway Jets YouTube. We are terrible on YouTube. We are much better on Twitter. So if you're looking for this type of quality, you're not going to get it there. Once you're done listening to this show, we did a video about the whole hit piece article. So save it for tomorrow. Finish the show out. And Jake, thanks for having me on. I was in earlier, and I wanted to make sure that I jumped in here.
I love that. Nate says, shout out to the master of receipts, Broadway Jet. Dude, your ability to destroy frauds on Twitter is incredible. I don't know how you do it, but you are truly the master of receipts. Nate's right.
I have a sick mind. I have a fiance that's like, why are you on your phone 24/7? I'm like, I got to pull a receipt on this guy. And I'll never pull a receipt if you're wrong. Like, you could be wrong and say, hey, I want this person, and come back and it didn't work out. I'm not going to pull it. But if you say Olu Fashanu is a franchise left tackle in December, and then they draft him and you say he's a terrible pick that night, I got to call you out for it. You got to be consistent. So it's one of my all-time favorite things to do on Twitter.
I'll tell you what, we need like what you do on Twitter for like this YouTube chat with some of the takes that get thrown in here. So I love that.
We're gonna keep it going, man. I appreciate it. We'll have you on the show at some point soon, but keep up the good work. And I see you killing it on ESPN Radio, so keep it up.
Matt, I appreciate it, man. Anytime, ladies and gentlemen. NYJ Matt, check it in. Him and Mike, who he does the show with, are awesome. So that's very cool. Appreciate him calling in. Let me make sure I didn't miss any super chats. Hey, shout out to Jorge. This is a 2-hour show, man. It's flown by. What I do, 3 hours this morning? I'm nuts, baby. I'm not as nuts as Lowski, but I'm up there. All right, let me try and get to more calls here. This guy has been waiting a long time. And the payoff's going to be worth it, I promise. Ladies and gentlemen, Doug on the couch. He's back. Hello, Doug. And you're on the couch.
Had to do it. Can you see me?
Oh, we see you.
Back on the couch. I had to do it for the people. You've been requesting it for a while, but it's a different couch from a different location. But it's a couch.
All right. Look, maybe the season's going to start to turn.
Yeah. No, on the next few streams, on the next few days, I will be on the couch. I promise. Couch the next few days. I mean, the season's over, but who cares? I agree with what you said. It's clear Rossini and Rosenblatt hate someone in the Jets. They clearly hate someone. They have an axe to grind. It's whatever. Yeah, what an entertaining time being on hold. Man, you miss a few Jake Asman shows, and Bobby Midnight's now enemy number one.
Look, there's a lot of drama going on. In fact, I just got this text from an unnamed source. All right, I'm going to go full Diana Rossini with this one.
Mm-hmm.
I kid you not, Dave Briga hates BMAX so much that he wants to meet me in Vegas so I can tell BMAC that he's not an old man.
For the people,
so this listener is going to be in Vegas where BMAC or where Dave will be, and texted that to me, which is truly unbelievable.
For the people saying who I look different, yes, I'm not wearing glasses right now.
You look handsome.
Thank you. I try. But who gives a shit about the rest of the game? Oh, sorry, language. This is a kid's show. I forgot. Who cares about the rest of the season? I just wanted to end. Draft update, cool. Let's get into draft season. And then I agree with you. I want Vrabel. And then I think, well, you said they're getting ahead of the GM stuff now. It's clearly Douglas say, hey, look how much of a joke it is. And it's a bunch of half-truths. It's annoying. It's the Jets, and it's only the Jets, so we just have to live with it. And all the New York sports teams kind of suck right now, besides the Knicks. So, what a time to be a New York sports fan.
That's why I can extend this show tonight. The Knicks don't play till 9:30 because they bumped the game to TNT.
And the Rangers are a joke right now. The Islanders suck right now. The Devils,
the Devils are good.
Yeah, but the Rangers and Islanders, both the Rangers are the biggest joke in hockey right now. It's ridiculous.
Well, I don't understand why they traded Capo. That to me did not feel like a good trade.
It breaks my mind that this team in June, the same exact team, was 2 games away from going to the Stanley Cup, and now they're they're the biggest joke in the NHL right now.
Yeah,
blows my mind.
Well, at least you have the Jets, Doug. Don't worry.
But
they won't let you down.
So much better. Going into the season, I thought they'd be my saving grace. But then the Yankees made the World Series. That was awful. But I like what the Yankees have done this offseason. So after missing out on Soto, I think they pivoted well. So,
Doug, keep calling from the couch. Strong call.
I will be calling from the couch tomorrow morning show.
Ladies and gentlemen, Doug on the couch. All right, more of your calls right now. Let's check in with Nick Shine. Nick, how did it go when you went back to the Robert Midnight program?
Chaotic as hell. What would you expect?
That's exactly what I would expect, actually. Let's take a live look. Dave Briga is still – Dave Briga would not ever miss a Jake Asman show, but he hates BMAC so much that he has abandoned this entire show to sit on the Bobby Midnight program. And look at Pot Stirrer Ted just doing what he does, sitting there and stirring the pot. Unbelievable.
So, real quick, I got to talk about Matt real fast.
Yes.
The day that Twitter took away your likes, remember how they used to keep a history of everything you liked?
Mm-hmm.
Matt was the best. If somebody criticized him, he would scroll through their likes, find the worst freaking thing. One time, a guy liked transvestite stuff. And he was like, oh, hey, is this you? And I was like, I am the biggest Matt fan for the rest of my life because he pulled it and dropped it on the guy. It's like, all right, this is you, right? So fantastic. I've been a big Matt fan for a long time. I did go on Bobby's show.
Yes.
And I did try to calm Bobby. And I think I have a solution. I usually go on at 10. I'm willing to move it up to 9 if you're available. You want to come on and talk to Bob? You want to hash this out with Bob a little bit before your Nick game?
Look, I could talk to him, but I don't really know what I personally have to hash out. He's in the hole. It's not like he's banned from the show. The hole is a one-show sentence, as everyone knows. He'll be back tomorrow if he wants to be, and it's up to him how he acts. But now we have the hole available as an option, and I feel like if he continues down the path he's on, where he's mean to BMAC and he's snippy with people in the comments, I think we have the means to now hold him accountable. He's not. My fear with Bobby is he's not the same guy he was. And a lot of people have noticed this, and we cannot lose the joy that is Bobby Midnight and allow him to be Darth Bobby anymore.
Yeah. And the craziest part to me, he's done all this craziness today with the hat on backwards. Usually, when I tell him to put the hat on backwards, he's happy, he's jolly, he's laughing.
Right.
So, he loves his show. I'll speak on Bobby's behalf. He loves his show. He loves doing it. He was under the impression that you weren't going on with an afternoon show. So he says, all right, I'll go live. And then, if anyone goes on when he's on, now it's like you become the mortal enemy. So I think Bobby just got upset about that. I think it just snowballed downhill. But I got him locked in at 9. If you're available, I'll shoot you the link. And
but doesn't this prove he's able to still do his show? He still has 32 people that are watching his show right now.
I said to him, you have to go on against Jake every single day now. This is the most attention your show's gotten in a very long time.
I'm a radio guy, so I know how the game works. This is the best thing that ever happened for Bobby. If he plays it right, he's got more promotion for his show than ever before.
I think he's gained like 25 subs. And if people watching here, if you haven't already, go support our friend Bobby. We know he's a little unpredictable, but that's what makes Bobby so awesome. Sometimes you get caught in the crosshairs. This is Jake's first time in the crosshairs, fully, right? This is the first time you're getting the heat. Usually you watch him go at somebody else.
But I'm prepared to take it. Look, I thought what he did to BMAC was wrong. I'm glad he apologized after the fact. But I do think, Nick, and you know it too, I do think Allen's influence on Bobby, it really is like the Emperor influencing Vader. Like, that's what we're watching. You're not a Star Wars guy, but you have to take my word for it. That's what we're watching play out here.
Can you use another analogy?
Can someone help me with a different analogy?
Could it be like the New York Times buying The Athletic?
Yeah, you know what? Sure. It could be like the failing New York Times.
You go attack him.
Look at this. A live look at Darth Bobby. This is unbelievable.
Weed is the best, dude. He is the best.
I think Weed's watching both shows, which is truly incredible.
I do have a question for you, if you don't mind. If I turn the tables here, ask you a question on your show.
Sure.
Now that Bobby has broken the barrier and he's entered the hole,
yeah,
how often do you think this is going to happen?
The hole is not something I like to use often. We use it with Allen seemingly every day, but that's because he's Allen.
You got the video now. You got the video. You got to use it.
and look, let me just say this. Gator has a full-time job. He dropped what he was doing to make that video immediately because Gator has been very disenfranchised by how Bobby has acted. So I think that speaks volumes that Gator would drop what he was doing. The job he has in the real world to put food on the table for his children and make that video as fast as he did. I think it speaks volumes.
Oh, he's committed to the cause.
Think about the people who have custom hole videos. Alan, Hawk, Gary, JJ, and Bobby. We haven't had to use the Hawk video in forever because Zach Wilson's not a Jet anymore. Alan, Gary, JJ, and Bobby, it just doesn't feel right. It's truly unbelievable.
You got to see Knob super chat.
Knob says like Hyman Roth got the Frito.
Very good.
Oh my God.
I got to eat. I came home from work at 5 and I was supposed to eat 2 hours ago, but I've been so captivated by the events of a fan base stuck in the midst of being 4-10.
What do you having for dinner? Butter sticks?
Chicken and vegetables, man. Chicken and
nice,
vegetables. Man. I've been hardcore on this diet, man. I've dropped 30 pounds since October 29th.
Unbelievable. Well, you look handsome, I will say.
Thank you. You do too, pal. And of course, Darth Bobby up there. How did I get back in?
I don't know. You were on the show too? Or it looks like Bobby is.
Oh, that was with Johnny Boy. That was before.
You know what? This is Gator's the one who's like handling the simulcast of the Bobby Show right now. So I don't.
Oh, I got you.
I don't know what else he has on there. But anyway,
he might
Nick,
be jumping around to get material.
he might be. I'll tell you what, though, Nick. I look forward to your show tonight, and perhaps I'll be there to face Bobby head on. You might not know what this means, but I'm gonna grab my lightsaber and I'll be ready to go.
That's all right. Am I about to chop like someone there with the picture? I don't know. Explain this reference to me. Of me, you, and Bobby up there.
Well, this is a tough one to explain because you are not black, and Mace Windu is black. But I see what's being done here. I would say the order of which the characters are, it's a little wrong. Right? I would be Obi-Wan in the middle, and on the left, Anakin Skywalker should be Bobby. But I do like what. Is this Weed doing this? Or is this Gator doing it?
Definitely. No, Bobby started making them.
There we go. The Emperor Allen.
So good.
Unbelievable. You got to watch Star Wars, man. I can't believe you haven't seen it.
I saw the original 3 when I was a kid. I don't know. I'm not a sci-fi guy at all. And I know there's people who are, and they're going to think it's the worst thing I ever said when they hear it, but I don't do Lord of the Rings. I don't do I did Game of Thrones, but I did it because my girlfriend watched it. Like I'm just not a sci-fi person. It's not my taste.
I see. All right. Well, enjoy
I'm
your
nothing
dinner.
against. I'm not bashing it. Just not my cup of tea. Some people don't like comedies, whatever.
Look at Weed just ducking right there.
He's so quick with them too, man. He's really, really. And he's shot out. So,
man. All right, Nick. Well, you have a good dinner and enjoy some butter. All right.
Always. It's the cheap.
What a show, huh? 4-10 football team. Not on this channel. More of your calls right now. Ladies and gentlemen, let's say hello to Big Game James. Let's rapid fire through. If you're on hold, I promise we are going to get to you. Big Game James, what do you got?
Oh my God, Jake. This is probably the longest wait I have for your call, but it's definitely worth it. I was going to call and try to obviously shoot from the hip, but try to defend you with Bobby Midnight and talk to Bobby Midnight and just say, what the hell is going on? Bobby, you used to be the man of people. You're probably one of the best, hands down, Jake Asman callers out there. But you turning heel, I did like Knobs, Hyman Rolfe going for Alfredo. But I was gonna say this is like The Rock going to the corporation and becoming the corporate champion. That's what it feels like as well. But Bobby, man, even me months ago, I stood up for you when Alan was an a-hole and said you don't look like you have children, and I stood up for you, man. We want the Bobby who is jolly-go-lucky. And Bobby, I hope you don't call me out or curse me out, but I'll go through the a-hole gauntlet with you if I have to. But Bobby, man, we got to bring you back to the good side. Don't be this way. Don't shift yourself and be this person. You know you're better than that. Don't have a lot of influences convince you, man. Just keep that in mind. But of course, Jake, this is what the Jets do to us. We fucking fight at we fight at each other, and this is how bad the season is that we're all, attacking heads. You ruined Bobby Midnight. You ruined Jake Asman. You ruined Matt O'Leary. You ruined all the good Jets because of this freaking season. So Woody get it fixed. But Bobby Midnight, man, please calm down, man. Please find some sense. Come back into the light. Come back to the good side. We're here for you. We all just care about you. Even with the whole butter thing, I was getting so pissed off with that butter take with Gary and Bobby. It was just too much. But Bobby, man, we care about you. We're just looking out for your best interest. Just be mindful of who is really looking out for you. That's all I just wanted to say, Jake. Haven't been on the show a lot because I've just been all over the place. I was coaching the football team this season along with the Jets sucking, but I'll try to be back more often.
I'll tell you what, James, you make a lot of good points, and hopefully Bobby's out there and he's listening. That's all I could say.
I hope so too. Bob, we're here for you, buddy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Big Game James checking in. Joining us right now on the Gusbuster Hotline is the architect of all the Bobby memes you've seen, Mr. Weed. Hello, Weed.
What's up, Jake?
Weed, what's your take on Bobby Gate?
I love it. I love every single minute of it.
It seems like you do love it, yes.
It's great, man. I don't know. Somebody did something. Remember this, Bobby? Cool, chilling out in his house, hanging out, Bobby, with his brother Mikey. Now he's just angry. and it's all your fault, Jake.
I don't think I did anything wrong, Weed. I simply just wanted
It's
Bobby
all-
to get back to being the joyous figure he used to be.
You guys are instigating him, and you know it.
We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Come on, Weed. It's the holiday season. Lighten up. Let's say hello to a guy who always brings it, the Lup Man. Ladies and gentlemen, Luppy. What's up, Lup?
Hey, Jake, how you doing? A couple of points before we get to Bobby, okay?
Okay.
First of all, got my hoodie. I love this hoodie. Unbelievable. It's so comfortable.
You want an item for the merch store? You picked the hoodie. We got you the hoodie. I love it.
But this is just so comfortable. I love this freaking thing. I do. And, me, merch guy.
I love it. Dude. You should be a model for jakeasman.com, Lup.
Yeah, it's too bad I'm ugly.
Nah, you look great. I love it.
All right. So that's the one point. The second thing is about the Jets. Jake, this was coming. They were salivating because we got Rodgers. The second we lost and the second that we were eliminated from the playoffs, the vultures are going to come out. They're going to pick at the dead body. That's what they do with us, with the Jets. All this stuff was going to come out. Whether, all these winning teams, they have the same issues, but when we have the issues and we lose, this is what we get.
It's heightened.
Deserves got nothing to do with it.
100%. Well, I mean, if you think about it, like, where are the stories about the Jaguars? We're in line to have the first pick in the draft 3 out of the last 5 years. Like, nothing on the Raiders, nothing on the Giants in the same media market. When is the Giant athletic story dropping? Like,
because we're easy.
They've been a bleep show. It's like, and look,
easy
I don't want to do like the what about these teams. Like, the Jets deserve their criticisms because they've been terrible. But it's just like the third story that basically regurgitates the same thing. Like, and I'm sorry, we know Woody's got a problem, but Woody also lost faith in these guys because they weren't winning the first 4 or 5 years they were here. So it's like, can we get the right football people in here? Because that's the only way this changes. We had my old co-host Cody on earlier. And like, the Texans had a preacher running their organization. They had 3 coaches in 3 years. Their owner was accused of being racist because he fired 2 of them after 1 year each, and they happen to both be black.
We are the low-hanging fruit.
You gotta hire football people and win. That's the only way this changes. No one's talking about James Dolan being the worst owner in sports anymore because the Knicks have figured it out.
Yeah, we're the low-hanging fruit, though, Jake. It's always the Jet go-to. Oh, they suck again. Great, let's go over and pick the low-hanging fruit and make a name for ourselves or splash ahead.
Yeah, and look, there's still some things in that article that are concerning, right? When it talks about, Brick Johnson being in the locker room. Like, I think if Mike Vrabel comes in, for example, no, the locker room's got to be a sacred place. It's for people only with the team. I don't want to act like there's nothing in there that's like not a big deal, but I hope it's like a wake-up call for Woody. Like, dude, it's open season on you right now. Honestly, if I were him, I'd hold a press conference and I say, I'm aware of what's happened. Ultimately, these stories are happening because we haven't won, and it's my job to win, and we are going to get it right with these hires, and I'm going to let them do their job. Like that to me is PR. That's what I would say. Like, if I own the Jets and all these stories are coming out, I'd put something out there and acknowledge it. I have a funny feeling when Fireman Ed joins us tomorrow at 9 a.m. for his weekly segment, he's going to make similar points.
Instead of Woody saying that, all the right things, he says, thinking's overrated. Things like that.
Right. He's a bad public speaker. And then, his name is Woody Johnson. People just love to make fun of that alone. And then you
maybe
combine
they
the
need to
fact
take the PR department, rip them out, and get a new PR department because everything they do and say is just the wrong thing.
You know what they need to do? They need to hire a good general manager and a good head coach. And I promise you, we won't have hit pieces slamming the entire organization if you actually start winning games.
And I hate these people saying, hey, the Jet fans are stupid. They want to bring Aaron Rodgers back. I think it's even if you get a young quarterback, it's a great thing. He's even saying he would mentor with the guy.
Well, what's the alternative, right?
Exactly.
You don't want to bring Rodgers back. I get it. And a couple of weeks ago, I thought he was washed after that Seattle. I'm like, all right. But, he's played well these last 2 games. So now I want to see if he could do it in the cold against a better team. And, he's probably their best chance.
He is. And I think he's been hurt this season. He's been hurt and nobody knew about it. I think that's really what a lot of it is.
Definitely.
Because you can't be 2 different quarterbacks all the time.
He's looked drastically different from just how he's playing the position. He had 40. He led them in rushing on Sunday. He had 45 rushing yards. He's healthy right now. Let's see in the cold against a defense that's way better than Jacksonville, a Rams team that needs the game. Let's see if the Jets could go out there And if not win because their defense sucks and won't be able to stop Stafford and company, at least have a good offensive showing where it's like, yeah, Aaron gives us our best chance to win.
Well, maybe Sauce will get a couple more picks,
That'd be nice.
Maybe he's on a roll, because the defense can't stop a nosebleed right now. It was ridiculous last week. I'm glad we won, but wow, that defense was really nothing what it was last year. Nothing. I know we lost a lot of pieces, and JJ was huge in the beginning of the season, but God, stop the run first. That's always number one in defense, is stop the run.
I mean, they can't stop a nosebleed right now, let alone the run.
Yeah. Well, my Bobby point, okay?
Oh, yes.
A little bit different take on everything. So, I'm on Bobby show a lot.
A different take. Wow. Okay. We could use we could use an original take on Bobby Midnight.
So I think ever since Bobby's been dieting, especially on Gary's diet, Gary's not all up there. I think that's when it started twisting around. And it's also like everybody liked the heavy Rex Ryan as opposed to the thin Rex Ryan.
Interesting.
I think that's the take we need to go. I think Bobby needs to eat what he likes to eat and be happy. Nobody wants to. Food is the happiness. I'm Italian. That's exactly what you need to be. Eat what you want to eat. Eating sticks of butter and shoving steaks down your mouth only gets you so far. You got to have the whole range. And I think that ever since Bobby's been on this diet, I think it's messing with his mind a little bit. And I think he needs to come back to earth. He kicked me off the other day because he just made a joke when I go on it. So he put me in the Bobby hole. So.
Wow. Well, I do think he does need to, learn how to maybe take a joke a little bit. I mean, if anyone has watched this show, we tend to joke a lot.
But I think being on the diet might have something to do with it as well, and especially the Gary diet.
I agree. And look, I think there's a take here from Peter Castro that should be addressed. Yeah. Allen has poisoned Bobby's mind. Rob was right. Tough to argue with that one.
This is true. He must be using the negative force, the dark side of the force on him a little bit. That Star Wars theme does go with a little bit. So that's it. Listen, Jake. Love you guys.
Great call,
I just hope you guys tonight at 9:00 can match it together. I'll be watching you guys. All right.
We're gonna find out, man.
He just can't use his line though. He can't say where you're from, Jake, because everything.
Where you from? Oh, you're from Long Island.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's get together. Maybe you should use it on him. Where you from?
Where you from? Luppy, all the love, man. Great job.
You too. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Lup Man. All right, one last call before we wrap. Let's say hello to a esteemed member of the 4% female demo, which, by the way, is trending towards 5 if we finish this month strong. Let's say hello to Raven, who's up next. Hello, Raven.
Jake, all I have to say about the topic of the show is just why.
The Bobby Midnight portion of the show or the Jet hippies?
The Jets. Just why?
I know. Well, I mean, it's
why?
New York, clicks, Rodgers, Jets. It's like the perfect scenario.
I mean, listen, I'm not as skeptical as the report as other people are. Now, did she embellish? Yeah, it's not entirely unfair to say, but these journalists, their entire career is based on like being honest and having integrity, and like if they don't, they straight up lose their career forever. But again, like embellishing, yes. Straight up lying, no. But ultimately, I think the point of the story is like this is a deeply dysfunctional organization for so many reasons, and just yeah. Honestly, I really in a way I have so much to say that I almost like don't have much to say.
Yeah, look, I mean it's one of those things where it's like I'm exhausted by it too. The way I look at it is I think a couple things can be true here. Woody's a bad owner till proven otherwise, and Joe Douglas and Robert Saleh were not good enough at their jobs, so they deserve to be fired. So it's like
100%.
And I'd rather the stories come out now than in January when they're trying to get the next people in here. It's like, get them out of the way. Everyone reacts. Be prepared when candidates might have some questions about some of the things that's alleged in the story. Have a good answer. Take ownership of it if you're Woody. Hey, I lost faith in the guys I had. We gave them time. We weren't winning. If I could do it all over again, I would have fired Robert before the year. I wouldn't have done it 5 games in. You have my word that you guys are going to get time to do it your way. Mike Tannenbaum sitting in this interview. He was here for 16 years. He could tell you what I'm like to work for. Like, you have to be prepared for those questions. That's what I hope they are, that they can learn from this.
Honestly, I didn't even think about it from such a global level, but you're so right with that. There are definitely some questions there, and we got a long way to go.
We
I
do.
mean,
We do. They got to get like it's easy to say get the right people. They got to actually do it. Right? When they hired Robert Saleh and
Exactly.
Joe Douglas, they were the top of the candidates available. Like Joe Douglas, he was so highly respected. They had to give him a 6-year deal. He didn't want the job. Gase had to beg him to take the job, and they had to pay him more money than any first-time GM ever. So, like, on one hand, what he's shown you, he's not cheap, but he's got to go out there and spend the money and bring in a top candidate.
yeah. Exactly. It's something you'll have to excuse me. I'm exhausted between just work and everything, and then this. But that's again why I like having Tannenbaum in the room, because this is somebody who knows the organization, can almost like do like a little like cleanup, shall we say, and. Yeah, no, to your point, I'd rather it come out now than later.
I think it's easier to get up from it now than it. Yeah. I mean, look, ideally these articles aren't written, but like if you're going to have 3 hit pieces come out, it's better to come out in December when the NFL's still going on. And then you get to January when you actually can start talking to other candidates and you vet the best ones and you're prepared for the questions they might ask.
And from a player perspective, I just got to hope that, I think some of our guys in a way like get in their own way. I think we've seen them get really emotional, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing or a good thing. These are still young guys at the end of the day, definitely more impressionable and not as good as drowning out that noise as like an Aaron or a Devontae. So like, I hope it doesn't get to them like that. But one thing that you said that I thought of earlier, what really frustrates me the most about this is none of this shit is entirely surprising, whether it's completely true or embellished. It doesn't surprise me. It's just the same pattern, and it's like feels like it's just never gonna end, and that is what's so infuriating to me.
It ends if they win. That's it.
Yeah, but when you're like the fish rots from the head.
I get it, but they said that about the Texans too. I was down there, and now the Texans are going to the playoffs the second year in a row. The fish does rot from the head, but this is also the same owner that when he took over in 2000, from 2000 to 2016, they never had back-to-back losing seasons. It's also the same owner that,
That's a good point.
he was here for Herm. He was here for Mangini. He was here for Rex. Like 3 different coaches that all made the playoffs. Rex obviously had the most success with the championship game appearances. So I really don't want to be the Woody defender. He's a bad owner until proven otherwise, but I'm just trying to provide hope that it's like there's been examples of this team good under his ownership, and there's been examples of recent teams in the NFL that have had worse situations than the Jets currently are, and they figured it out. Houston and Detroit immediately come to mind.
No, and you bring up a good point, and honestly, I didn't even think of it that way with what you said from 2000 to 2016. And, since this is coming from you, what are your thoughts as to what's different from, what would that be, 2017 till now? That just doesn't exist. That existed in those
The people have sucked. Adam Gase should never have been hired. You have this young, talented franchise quarterback potentially, and you bring in Adam Gase to take him to the next level. Like, imagine they found Kevin O'Connell for Sam Darnold, but they found it for him in 2019. How different things might be. Like, we'll never know, but they've had the wrong people in place. They've made every big decision Joe Douglas made. He missed on most of them. And while he did make some good picks, when you miss on left tackle with your first ever pick, you screw up quarterback as badly as the Zach Wilson pick ended up being. You screw up some of your other big-time free agent signings like Carl Lawson or Corey Davis. You screw up the backup quarterback situation. You screw up the head coach. The head coach is the biggest thing. That's why they have sucked. They have not hit on coach and quarterback, but the GM that is brought in, you have to trust that he could hire those people and pick the right people. So it's the people involved. We can blaming the owner is too easy. I'm not saying he's blameless, but it's like this team under the same owner had success. James Dolan is the same owner that 3 or 4 years ago Knicks fans were chanting "sell the team." It's like you got to get the right people in. It's the only way this changes.
No, and you make a good point that, and I think I think it's honestly like so layered because you're right. It is too easy to just blame the owner. I mean, how many times have we seen? And I know you're probably gonna have to put up your disclaimer for for me cursing. I don't care. I'm gonna say it. Like, how many times have we seen owners just like make like shitty fucking decisions where in places that they don't have any domain over, like Woody Johnson should not be making actual football decisions. So it's like, in a way, it's like what came first, like the chicken or the egg. The Woody not setting up the organization or not setting up the front office to be successful by being too involved, or just there simply being the wrong people. I think it's both. I think this is a case where two things can be true at once.
For sure. But it's like, you look at their process now. How, like, I think we could objectively look at it and go, you know what? I like what they're doing. You bring in Tannenbaum, you bring in Spielman, you start the process in December, you give plenty of opportunities to talk to as many people as possible. Like, so far, so good. Now they got to get these right, but, hopefully this open season that's on Woody is eye-opening for him, and he will realize he's got to hire people and get out of their way. Like, that's the only way this changes. Hire the right people.
Yeah.
Houston was way worse. I lived the Texas. They had a preacher running their team for several years. I covered it every day. So that's why my perspective on this is like, yeah, we could say Woody's the worst. Cal McNair, sell the team. They had protests outside of Energy Stadium when I was down there on the radio. Guess what? No one's saying that in Houston. They're going to the playoffs for the second year in a row.
No, and I appreciate that because I said myself, I just think there are a lot of nuances to the reports as to how true they are. It, again, just being a very layered issue. And I think like you've done a really good job really just going layer by layer throughout the entire show.
Raven, you're awesome. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Raven, checking in, an esteemed member of the 4% female demo. And I think the potential to do some real damage in March. Now, I don't make the bracket. I'm not on the committee. I'm just giving my personal opinion. Peter Castro checks in. Rob from Glenhead was correct along with, was correct. Alan, I'm going to try and speak Castro here, people. Bear with me. Rob from Glenhead was correct all along. Alan has poisoned Bobby Midnight's mind. Alan is like terminal cancer. Some show this has been, huh, folks? Tanela says, Bobby's fall from grace needs to be studied. Luppy says, how about 5 memberships at the bundle? And in true Asmaniac fashion, tonight's dinner will be chicken with pasta, which I have officially just ordered off Grubhub from Parm. Shout out to you, Gary. Suck it. Low Femtade TV, Brian England, Travis Dukes, Q, and James Fustel, all receiving channel memberships. Welcome, welcome, welcome to all our new members. Luppy, thank you. That's 5 more raffle tickets for you as well. Peter Castro in all caps. Rob from Glenhead was correct. Rob from Glenhead, he took on the chat today, and it got wild. Peter Castro says $15 million a year for Vrabel. Yeah, I would do it. It's not my money. I'd make him the highest paid coach in football if it means I got to get him. Look, as much as I want Vrabel, we got to consider slow dick down in Houston, right, Castro?
We got to get rid of Yolbrick and then go after Gabriel first. Then I want Queensberry. Got to look at the monkey guy. I like Floney. And maybe slow dick in Houston is the answer.
Salient points. Friend of Bill says, Rob the Jets fan needs to be banned. I'll tell you what, friend of Bill. You make an offer and I'll consider it. I'm a capitalist. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for watching. I think between the first show and this show, we did basically 5 hours of Jet content today on December 19th with a 4-10 team. We know the Jets are bad, but at least they give us a lot to talk about. How's that for a spin zone? All right, I'm back tomorrow. We got Fireman Ed, who I know he's fired up. He'll be joining us tomorrow. We'll talk to him about Woody, the Athletic, Diana Rossini, as he will say, and everything else. Who knows? I do know this, though. This show, unrivaled to any show out there, and that's because of the people who watch, call, and engage in the chat. So thank you to everyone who supports. Please hit the like button if you want Asmaniac merch, jakeasman.com/shop. Check it out. If you want to support me, best way to do it is Patreon for less than a cup of coffee a month. You get access to the Discord, your name in the intro, discounts on every item in the merch store, and bonus shows. It's patreon.com/JakeAsmanShow. If you have $5 to spend to keep the show afloat and support, it truly goes a long way. So thanks to everyone out there who continues to tune in. My name is Jake Asman. This has been the Jake Asman Show. Everyone have a good night. We'll talk to you guys with Fireman Ed tomorrow morning. And I'll end the show with one message. Bobby, enjoy the home.
Now look what you've done, Bobby. No more protection from the Asmaniacs. Had to pull you out of the chat and cast you down with the sodomites. Some time in here will feel like you've been run over by the lane train. You understand me? You catch my drift? Give him another 24 hours to think about it.